I saved nobody today.
Hey, it's all in just like we like it.
Nah, Rich read me the riot act, bro. He told me not to save no coons. I said, okay, fine, I'm not gonna do it. I was trying to be nice. I was on my Harriet Tubman shit. Now I'm going around and I'm gonna be on my. I'm finna slam the door like Martin in his apartment.
Hmm. You gonna get on your Nat Turner game.
I'll be a little bit nicer because it's still April. But come summertime, I'm not holding back. People about to get really cussed out. They trying to make
There we
they
go.
trying to make me evil Kid Gravity again. I was trying to stay away from it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till a couple people file in, but we're gonna get it loaded tonight. I see there's a bunch of other spaces going on, so probably when people start filing out, they start
But
filing in.
we
But
do have
yeah,
good
I got
news, family, for the room. We do have good. Apparently, the diaspora wars thing, yeah, that's starting to get dismantled. So that's a good.
let's get it,
Yeah, motherfucker. That fool got 2,000 views off of us. That got me.
bruh. Man, I seen that shit. Damn.
But I'm watching. I'm gonna watch tomorrow. See if this is up. Maybe he learned his lesson or their lesson. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a white boy.
Hey, whoever it was, man, they was sneaky because we couldn't find them worth nothing on here at all, at all. They was on Twitter obviously a lot, but when it came to finding them, nope, Brother Rich was good.
Was good, brother. Kid Gravity said he's not saving anybody tonight, so I could slaughter anybody I want to slaughter. I'm very happy about it.
At least let them finish their point before you slaughter them.
So you know why I don't like letting them finish their point, because it's the little details that matter, and a lot of times they'll say something and try to let it. They try to say it and run, and I want him to repeat it and say it very slow and debunk those little details. Because I was just listening to the last live we did, and the foolishness that dude was saying is just out of this.
I mean, that's cool and all, but again, we want the coons to hang themselves where they can't get out of it.
And,
When you interrupt them, they could say that we're not letting them
no,
talk,
I,
and
I,
then they
I
can get
actually
out
no,
later.
I agree with that, because I told Black Alpha that in the DM earlier. I was like, we certain people like see that conservative coon. I think he's like a genuine coon. I don't think he's like trolling. And people like that, you gotta let him speak. And like you said, we have to let him hang himself. And that's why I was asking him so many questions, because I wanted him to hang himself. I don't think he was trolling. I think he was a genuine, natural coon.
Hey, the funny thing
But
was, man, that was like
also notice too, when I told him, I was like, listen, if you don't want the reparations, that's fine. Get out the way. He wanted to argue that.
like the talk of the community, man. Hey, that back and forth right there, I was getting so many DMs, and I was on YouTube and people would hit me up on YouTube talking about it. Like that was the talk of the community for a minute. And when I re-listened to it and I heard the playback, that shit was funny as hell. Funny as hell.
You mean with him and Rich?
Yeah, him and Rich started it off, really the whole situation. But him and Rich started off in my live chat when I put it up on YouTube. People were in the comment section, man. They was like, "Damn, Rich giving it to him."
But Kid Gravity, let me ask you a question. Was that did you know you sent a shot at him? Because as soon as you said what you said, when you said conservative, I thought already he was a conservative. So I thought you was throwing a shot at him. Was it a genuine shot, or you just randomly said that?
No, I knew he was a conservative because I heard them talking points already.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because remember, I told y'all I was saying back in 2020 we should have used the conservatives to our advantage, and a lot of the stuff that he was saying, I heard conservatives saying, and it sounded real good until George Floyd happened. Then they started going siding back with white supremacy, and then I said, "Damn, okay." So that's how y'all wanted to run it. So everything was cool when it was us. Y'all could stand lock and step with us because we didn't like Biden. But then as soon as George Floyd happened, y'all want to run back over to the people who donate to you, and you talk their talk. Cool, say less. I was like, okay.
So you basically put a mousetrap on him.
Oh no, I want. That's why I said when y'all were arguing, that's why I said, "Yo, Rich, let him talk," because I knew he was going to say something, and you even brought it up that he was going. You've heard those talking points. He was going to say one of them, and I was like, "There you go." I mean, like I said, I don't mind if you don't want the reparations. Cool, you get your check if you FBA, donate it to a Boys and Girls Club, donate it to a goddamn struggling business in your neighborhood. I can give a shit. But don't sit up here on these spaces when we talking about reparations and you're talking about, financial literacy and how we're going to get this done. That's not the point. The point is you guys are owed a debt We have to make sure that the conversation gets to the point where it's a bunch of y'all surrounding whoever the asshole is that's president signs that bill, and then y'all can hold it up. Fuck the CBC holding up that book. Y'all hold that book up and say our road has ended. Now the next wave happens to make sure that they honor it, because you know they'll have a way of not honoring. Some bullshit will happen. And we already know the black conservatives is going to get pissed off when this happens. We already know this.
That man had the nerve to say financial literacy.
Yeah, but
What the fuck?
that's not on y'all with the reparations. That's on the community.
Facts, fact. Hey, he was basically saying that we weren't intelligent enough to have the money. Every talking point that you could think of from the dominant society, he was just spewing them out. And hey, a lot of people don't know. He had sent me a request to speak immediately. So he had his coon mind made up that he was coming for some smoke from the giddy up.
Yeah, but he also said financial literacy, but then at the beginning also said that what was that thing he said something about, you know, America was like the best place to be what you want to be. I'm like, okay, you're in a room with FBAs who've done more with less.
And
So
that's
you should be humbled by that at least.
and that really offended me when he said financial literacy. And by the way, he wasn't standing on it. He was tippy-toeing. Tippy-toeing. He was basically saying, "Oh no, that's not what I mean. I don't mean we need financial literacy." Okay, so why did you mention stand on what you believe in? If
Because
you're conservative,
I'm going to say black conservatives. I'm sorry, I don't. If you don't like me saying this word, you can DM me later. But black conservatives think we're dumb niggas. That's what it is.
exactly. And that
They think
really
most of us don't follow Jesus, the white Jesus. We
and that
follow horoscopes and moon risings and all this other stuff out here, and we're not lockstep with the mainstream, so they can't understand us, and they use the Bible to shield their bullshit.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He actually had DM'd me as we were talking. And he specifically DM'd me about Rich. He felt like Rich was interrupting him and being very rude, and was referring to Rich as a what's the word, liberal. He's all like, yeah, this is why, because black liberals don't respect black conservatives. I'm like, Rich is by far not a liberal. As to let him know, Rich is not a liberal by any sense of the means. He just does not like cooning.
Hey, Afro,
okay,
do me a favor. Go back in the DMs and tell him I'll let him and Rich debate on my platform.
actually, you know what? That's the crazy thing. I was thinking about that. I was actually thinking about that. So
I'm do it. Listen, I'll do it, and I got restream. So if Afro and Black Alpha wanna simulcast it, hit me up. We do it. And everybody get the view.
Must see TV. I'm locked in. Popcorn ready.
Let me see if I can find.
Yeah, you're already locked in with me, Black Alpha. So you good. We just gotta upgrade your internet. I ain't like that last one we did. Your internet kept kicking out.
Hey man, they was hating on the kid, but it's all good. We bounced back.
Yeah. So like I said, we do it. We get the views on it, and we make it a V1.
But yeah, that really offended me when he said we need a damn financial literacy class. Like we some crackheads or some bummy people. We're under a system of white supremacy. That's the only reason we're not winning. And even in this system, we still find a way to win. And this is the crazy thing too. Before this Twitter space started, I was thinking about things that I wanted to speak about. One of the things I wanted to speak about is Black Wall Street. Like, we did that from the mud, and they seen how powerful it was becoming, and what they did, they burned it down. This nigga talking about we need financial literacy. They didn't have financial literacy in Black Wall Street. They did that from the mud.
Harlem Renaissance didn't have it. The Negro League damn sure didn't have it.
You know, that's what I said in the space. I feel as if black people, of course, there's people who are not financial literate, but that's not a racial exclusive thing. I feel like black people are just inherently, due to our situation, I feel like we're more financially literate than any other group of people. We've had to do things that no other group of people have had to do. We've had to face things that no other group of people have had to face. Because the second we get any opportunity, the second we are able to get a chance, we take off with that. Black people didn't know how to read coming out of slavery. And then in 30 years, we cut our illiteracy rate in half. And there were black millionaires like a single generation after slavery. If that's not proof enough to show that the second we get an opportunity that we're going to take off, then I don't know what to tell you. They only bring up the financially literate thing because America has a stigma when it comes to black people, that black people are just inherently stupid, and black people can't do anything without the help of white people or non-black people, because they never talk about financial literacy with any other group of people ever.
And two more things. One, Afro, like I said on your video, you better than me because them tethers were they I almost crashed my car. Yeah, I got so upset on what they were talking about in that room.
Yeah, I seen that, man. That was some
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah. And this is Queen Alpha in the building. Shout out to her. She's a year wiser, so everybody give her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, my sister.
Thank you.
When people and for those of you guys who might not know me before this, I used to debate often, like all the time. I used to always debate people, and it takes a lot of patience to do so. So when people ask me why are you on these things with these tethers, they're wasting your time, they're not going to change. I'm like, no, they're not going to change. My goal isn't to get them to change. My goal is to get a platform and to present their talking points on a platform and then publicly debunk their talking points. That's really why I started YouTube in the first place, is to debunk racist talking points. However, if they're getting just rude and belligerent, which is why I left, if they're just getting crazy, then there's no point. Then I'm
You
gonna
are
just
a
leave.
kata.
Hey, no, but Afro, last week, that guy, Tyler was the other guy, the other little troll supremacist. That was a masterclass. You put him against the ropes. That guy didn't want to give $1 to Marcel. He didn't want to. And you challenged him with your words so precise, he had no wiggle room. You know what I'm saying? You put him on the line. Like we got the Jumbotron, you had him on the damn Jumbotron, and he was shook. And he gave up that money. I was actually letting people hear that. And everybody was just shocked. They was like, now that's how you handle a troll. That's how you handle it. Actually, I'm gonna post that shit, and it's gonna be how to handle a troll because that was perfect. Anybody who did not hear that, Brother Afro put that man against the ropes, had him wobbling, had him coming out of pocket, and really put pressure on him. And that was like the G's way of handling it.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
What I
But
realized. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Rich.
What I realized about liberals, Republicans, man, these dudes is light work when it comes to their talking points. Because remember, Neely Fuller said this: white supremacy is not about logic. It's literally about just being evil. Period. So when you listen to their talking points, like it's silly. Like it's just silly talk. Like there's no logic behind it. It's just about I'm white and I say so. And they get away with it because we never challenge. But the minute we start challenging it, we debunk them in like 2-3 seconds. It's like light work. Oh, I'll spank this dude. Like especially Republicans, they're so easy to spank because like the black conservative, like his talking points was just so silly. Like talking about financial literacy and 40 acres and a mule. Like if I that's why I kept interrupting him because if I didn't, he was just gonna ramble on and on and on and on, and that's why I just kept stopping him at every point because I just didn't want him to just keep rambling because he's just so silly. Like, do you know how silly you have to be to ignore white supremacy and act like it don't? Like, you really have to be just complete the biggest idiot on the planet for you to ignore white supremacy and act like it don't exist. That takes a lot of hard work because white supremacy is everything.
It's woeful ignorance. That's all it is. They don't want to fight it because they're going to have to put themselves in the forefront. And, most people want to stay hidden. They'd rather cheer us from the sideline. And then if we win, they come outside and pat us on the back. But then we lose, they just sit there and like, okay, you see, well, it wasn't going to work anyway. I'm not going to put myself out on the line for them. So they're going to learn. I'm telling you, after these midterms, they're going to learn.
And our brother Black Alpha asked him an excellent question. He asked him, what do you think what do you think the climate of the racial element is in America right now? Like, is it bad? Is it good? He was like, it's pretty decent. Dude, do you know how? Like, I honestly think he's like a genuine coon. I don't think he's I don't think he's joking. I don't think he's trolling. I think he's just genuinely just not a smart guy. And
he meant that, didn't he, Rich? He meant that shit.
yeah, he meant that. I really believe he meant that. And do you know how silly you have to be to ignore white supremacy? White people don't ignore white supremacy. They practice it. How could they ignore it? That's like them ignoring welfare.
I think, you know what? And this is the last thing I'm going to say on this, and then we'll start the room. But I don't think he wants to fight it.
No, he loves it. That's his best friend.
You know what it is? A lot of us hide behind labels like conservative and all this other nonsense. And it just screams to me that you would rather fight along those lines than realize that none of that stuff is going to matter when that's all stripped away. You're going to be black. You're not going to be able to blend in.
We had that conversation late in the space the other night, reparations over everything. I think it was between me, Afro, and Nino. We all made a collective point that you cannot be black and consider yourself a liberal or Republican or Democrat, conservative. None of those groups you can belong to. Any black person who's in any group that has dominant society members is relegated to a third, fourth, fifth class citizen. That's just what it is. So anytime you hear a black person say they're liberal, or they say they're a conservative, or they say they're a Democrat, or they say they're Republican, they're really just saying they're a coon, because that's it. You can't be a part of it. And I ask anybody, go to any Republican or Democrat convention and see what the black people are, see where they are. It's no different than the plantation. You could, be at the plantation, but a black person wasn't going into those balls. They wasn't going in there serving drinks or, having the drinks. They were serving them. They was doing all of the labor work. So soon as he said he was a conservative, I already knew. Conservative, when you're black, conservative means coon. Liberal means coon. Republican means coon. And Democrat means coon, because that's the only job position that is available to you. So Brother Will, he gave his hand as soon as he started talking.
It's not gonna work after November, folks.
Oh,
You either
speaking of
B1 or
November,
you're done. Either
kid.
B1 or you're done.
What speaking of November, what's going on with Warnock and Herschel Walker, man?
All right, first off, listen. Well, Warnock was, I think he was here yesterday doing his bullshit Easter service. Warnock, I'll tell y'all this. Warnock got no love. I'm gonna just tell y'all that right now. Warnock's name is mud down here.
Hey, apparently because he's losing to Herschel Walker.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing with Herschel Walker. He got enough white support that he could be in that race for a while. He can walk around and act. Somebody say he can walk around and act like Joe Biden for a little bit, but he gonna have to go see Tamara, and that's not gonna be an easy fight because she's gonna call this man out. She don't give a fuck if he's a celebrity. She don't care who his son is. They might have to debate, and he's going to have to talk in front of people in Atlanta. And we talking black, white, Asians, all of that. He can sell the conservatism, but when he starts talking about economics and what's that and everything else, we already know he's going to start acting like a coon. We already know. And he's going to have a hard fight if he pulls that, because with what we're doing here, especially with the new black media and the grassroots, I'll be damned if he gets in. Because if he does, I might move. Because I already know what's going to happen. He's going to because he gets in, I have a sneaking suspicion that he's going to go sit there and endorse Stacey. Stacey might get in, and she's going to fuck this state. It's going to be white supremacy haven. It's going to be like Florida. We're going to get shafted again like she shafted us last year with losing that All-Star game and all the money that would have went to black folk. And she's going to be sitting there worrying about how to spend all the money in the state and black people don't have an opportunity to improve our economics. Everybody else is going to be improving except us. And we're going to be the ones ending up on the street because we can't afford houses or apartments anywhere in the state. And then you go to ask her a question, she'll be like, oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I'm thinking about running for president or some shit.
Speaking about Atlanta, I'm glad you mentioned Atlanta because that's something I wanted to speak about. I wanted to speak about real estate. I wanted to speak about community, and that's the problem with us. We don't have community, and when you don't have community, you don't have laws and rules and codes. See, other people, other community, they have real community, and what I mean by that is when you walk into their community, there's rules and regulation. There's no rules and regulations in the black. You can do whatever you want. And when you could do whatever you want, other people can do whatever they want. And there's no love, there's no relationship with the children, there's no relationship with the elders, there's nobody, everybody just go to work and come home and don't even talk to each other. You got in Brooklyn, New York, every black neighborhood, like when I go to the white neighborhood, you see the roads is clean. You see the paint job on the houses clean. You see the garbage picked up. You go to the black community. It's a neighborhood full of black people, but they don't communicate with each other. So that's not a community. Y'all just neighbors. Y'all don't talk to each other. Y'all don't say, okay, listen. And this is the thing too. When you leave your house looking dirty with leaves all over the place, all you're doing is bringing the value of your property down. See, white people understand this, so this is why they keep their neighborhoods clean. Like in New York, when you go to Dumbo, when you go to Brooklyn Heights, when you go to these certain neighborhoods, or even in Atlanta, when you go to Buckhead, I was there last year. When you go to these neighborhoods, they keep it to a certain level because when you do that, you keep the value of the property up. With us, we don't care. We just leave our properties anywhere we want. Anybody can do anything. You can leave the garbage in you, and that brings the value down, and that doesn't add community. This is why another thing, in white communities, they get the best restaurants, they get the best gym, they get the best movie theaters. Why? Because we don't invest in our own community. We don't seek to take control of our own community. So whenever there's a new gym like Equinox, that's like a luxury gym. You don't see that in the black
Yes, sir.
neighborhoods.
Nope.
You
We
don't
get
see that.
Planet Fit.
Yeah, we get Planet Fitness. We get the $10 memberships where you got 100 dudes in there. You got dudes you had problems with in junior high school. The damn machines is sweaty as hell. dirty as hell. That's what we get.
And you also get former mayors getting thrown out of restaurants because they wore leggings.
Hey,
Exactly.
you just had to go there. Hey, you just had to go there.
You damn right. That's that. Listen, what have I said? They gonna let you know how much they love you after the election. She had all that power for 4 years. She can't even go to a restaurant dressed regular.
See, hey, this is why we're at the time when we really need a complete overhaul of the political system. That's why we do definitely have to get behind Brother Marcel, Sister Tamara. The black political process has to be overhauled. It just has to. And I don't give a damn how we do it, whether that's not voting or not voting and using it as collateral, getting behind our own grassroots political candidates. The reason why we don't have that investment in the community is because we don't have any political base to facilitate any of this change. So we're basically just doing it willy nilly, just hands up, just going with the flow with no actual change in order. So this is why right now we got to start getting rid of these fake black misrepresentation. We said it the other day. What we said: miseducation, misrepresentation, and misdirection. Those are the three things that they're trying to do with us right now. Every single reparations panel is misrepresented. All the narratives that they talk about us are all miseducation. And every time they ever try to talk to us, they're trying to misdirect us in a direction that we know we shouldn't be going. So this is why Brother Marcel, Sister Tamara, they're really leading the charge right now, and it's history in the making. We got to get behind people like them. Hey, maybe tomorrow will be another person. Whoever, it don't matter. But we got to get people in these seats. We can't sit here all day long and hashtag reparations, because you're going to see what's going to happen. They're going to start putting people in these panels. It's already going on now. You got Asians on these panels. Talking about foundational Black Americans. Y'all name me one panel you've ever seen for another community where B1s was on their panels talking on their behalf. Never happened. Never happened. B1s can't get on B1 panels. FBAs can't get on FBA panels. But yet every single other group is on our panels dictating our future. And we all know they're not there for sincere reasons. They're not there for any type of honesty. They're only there to misdirect us, miseducate, and misrepresent. So we got to get behind them. That's why I was listening to Brother Marcel earlier, and he had a reparations plan. That's the first actual legislation I've heard written by a real black man for real black tangibles. And black folks been voting for 60 years. So this is why we definitely got to get behind them, push through. And I think if we do that, we can get what we want. And this is a very pivotal moment. Like you said, kid, this summer going to be a good one. It's going to be real hot. It's going to be real hot.
I already told y'all this whole summer is going to be me dedicated. I'm dismantling the Black Hawk. Every week or every other day, there's going to be a video on somebody whose seat is up and who I think should be in that seat, or I might just roast them for 10 minutes, but they got to go. That's a major hindrance with what we need to get, because they're going to stop everything. I mean, you saw Sheila Jackson Lee 2 years ago at that reparation panel thing at Congress. She was stonewalling the bullshit. She was saying all the nice things, but then she slickly said that, yeah, we deserve reparations, but it's got to be a certain way. It's got to be a way that's tailored to her. Now you're hearing 2 years later, oh, well, if y'all are gonna get reparations, we're cool with it, but it's got to be for all black people. No, and I'm a Jamaican telling y'all this. I don't want y'all's reparations. I want y'all's blueprint. That bitch that sits in England got to come see me. That's what I need, and that's why I'm fighting for you, because that's my legacy over there. I need that island to prosper. So if you guys get it, cool. I'm there with you. I'll let y'all celebrate for however long you need to, and then I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna respectfully ask, let me get that blueprint, and I'll be on the first plane to Kings, making sure I get enough people with me to go, and we're going to London, and we're gonna go to Buckingham Palace and say, I want my money.
Real quick, brothers and sisters, I see some pretty good brothers and sisters in here. I humbly ask you all to share the space. Last time we had a space like this, we had a very good turnout, despite all the setbacks and the technical difficulties we had to go through. We had a pretty good turnout. So we're trying to do that again tonight. So if you all could share the space real quick to get more people in here, I'd greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
See, in Atlanta, that's a prime example of what I'm speaking about. Atlanta has a bunch of black people, but guess what? There's no code, there's no leadership, there's no agenda. It's just a bunch of black people going to damn Icebox, going to that damn mall, Lenox Mall, shopping, buying jewelry, buying cars, buying clothes, but there's no agenda. And this is why an agenda and money go hand in hand.
Hey,
When you got an
Rich, I got to
agenda,
push back on that a little bit, brother.
go ahead.
Atlanta's dying right now. A lot of people don't want to admit this. Atlanta's dying right now. I told people this 2 years ago. The Asians that are further south in Riverdale by the airport, they're starting to move their way up north. They want that mayor seat. And I'm starting to see them slowly start putting their hooks into Atlanta, especially in the black area. They're moving all the black folks out of Midtown right now.
And that's exactly what I mean. they're doing that because we don't have an agenda. Like for a perfect example of this, like those young kids, the water boys. I believe they just like they be on the corner, not on the corner, but they be in
They'll
the
be on the
village.
highway.
They be on the highways trying to sell waters and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Think about all the black celebrities that drove past them, gave them $100, gave them $200, gave them $50, whoever they gave. Not one black celebrity gave them an opportunity. You're looking at young black boys who are telling you they're willing to work. Whatever you want them to do, they're willing to work. They'll do it. Not one black celebrity gave them an opportunity. And I'm talking about just give him a $15 hour job. He's
Hell,
15. He's 15, 16 years old, showing you he's hungry, showing you
facts.
he's ready to work, and all you doing is just give him $100. Okay, you're gonna give him $100. That's cool, but guess what? That's not that $100 is only gonna last 2 3 days. Give him an opportunity. If you give
That's
him
what
an
I'm saying.
opportunity, if you give him go give. You don't even gotta pay him. Have him be an intern. Have him
That's
be
what
an
I'm saying.
intern.
Tyler Perry got a studio right by where I'm at. You could take some of them young boys. Hell, have them start sweeping up. Let them immerse themselves in that area. Look at all the sound stages. Look at the people working. Maybe something in there click for them.
Exactly, because that's what I used to do back in Brooklyn when I was younger. I they gave me an opportunity. I used to work in the barbershop. I used to sweep. So you give these young kids, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. There's no agenda. You just got a whole bunch of black people in one place. No agenda, no code, no leadership, no plan.
I remember Jason Black said the same thing, brother. He said a lot of black folks in Atlanta, they own private stuff, but they don't own anything publicly. You understand what I'm saying? They'll have their own house, their own cars, and all this. But when you start going up those ladders economically in those buildings, I'm not talking about lower management. I'm talking about upper management. Upper management gets more and more white as you go higher. And then the ones who are black still have a white mentality in Atlanta. So the misrepresentation again gets to black folks. Every place where we need to be represented, we don't have the true people there. Either we have a falsified leader that is not in sync and not moving with cohesion with the community, or we have someone who has a mentality that is completely non FBA, non B1. Queen Alpha always says it best. They're counterfeits. You got certifieds, you got counterfeits. We all certified right here. We know what it is. We know what it takes. We know what we about. We have that agenda. But you also have the counterfeit, and the counterfeit thinks the complete opposite of that. And unfortunately, the counterfeits are in all the positions of power. So therefore, they're able to make those decisions. So we can't actually get new development. We can't get new contracts for the community. We can't put new schools in place. We can't have a B1 agenda because we'll present it, but every time we present it, it has to go through whoever the representation is. And the representation for us is always wrong. Every other community, they have somebody in that seat of power that is a reflection of the community, not with color, but with mind. With us, everybody who's in that seat to make power decisions and power moves and determinations of our future, they are the complete opposite of everybody who's a day-to-day regular average black person. So this is why we got to get them people up out of these seats. I don't care if it's a CEO, I don't care if it's a politician. We can do it in the political world, we can do it in the social world, we can do it in the business world. But until B1s start becoming the mainstream, we're like a rapper that's like the best rapper in the game, but we don't sell no damn records because the people who are in the mainstream, they sell all the records and they suck and they couldn't touch us on the mic. So we got to remove these people. We got to get them out of the spot and eventually put the Marcells or Tamaras and people like us in those positions.
Yes, sir. And I'm doing my part tomorrow because I'm going to be talking to Tamara about the reparations plan tomorrow afternoon. And then in the evening, I got a brother coming on that I interviewed last week who, black man, owns his own HVAC company and he works with Georgia Power. He's going to come on the platform and talk about how to get into that game because he said the jobs are there. They talking about they overpaying upwards to like 40% over starting rate. So we talking like 72 within 2 years, you get your own truck. He said, I think he told, I looked it up, within 5 years, you could make $120,000. So I'm going to talk to him tomorrow. I want to make sure if you know any young boys, sick teenage age or young men, tell them to tune in and take notes because we need them people in there because especially with what Rich and I were talking about going on in Atlanta, they're starting to price out all these homes. And even if we can afford it, he's talking about just doing little things in the house with your HVAC. You put in $40,000 in your pocket and it don't even cost you that much.
To piggyback off of what you said, I definitely agree. That's something that we need to do as a community because we keep having to restart. We keep having to start over. We need more than kings. We need king makers. Well, we have a big problem in our community is once people get it, they don't want to extend the olive branch. They don't want to reach out and allow anybody else to get the game. I recently had, I ain't gonna say recently, about like maybe a month or so ago, I had some real estate agents on my channel, and I was asking them questions like, okay, if somebody wanted to get into this, what are the do's and don'ts? What are the things you should do? What are the things you should avoid? These are the questions that need to be asked because people get it and then they say, well, if I get it, you can get it too. So I'm gonna just leave you. I'm gonna leave you where you are. All of these other races of people, once they get their like economic come up, they create bridges and opportunities and they give people the game for free. There's no, okay, I got it, so you guys get it yourself. White people, they're always giving each other secrets. There's so many secrets in white societies, just as far as stocks and bonds and what to invest and how to do this with your taxes and how to do this and that. They pass so many secrets exclusively to them because they want the next generation to come up. And for too long in our community, we've had our elders who are at least supposed to be our elders. They're not, they have vitriol for the younger generation and they don't want the younger generation to come up. So if they get successful, they kind of put a barrier between them and the community so nobody else can kind of I don't want to say leech off of their success. Nobody else can kind of, follow in their paths. You know what I'm saying? Follow in their footsteps. They don't reach back. So that's a good thing that you did, Gravity. That's a good thing you did, kid.
I'm just trying to do my part, brother. Just trying to do my part.
And think about that now. We're all much younger than the people who aren't passing the baton. Look at us. We're all much younger than these people in their 60s and 70s and don't want to pass the baton. We're passing the baton to people who are teenagers, who aren't even in the workforce yet. And you got people who've been working for 60 years and want to hold on to that baton. And as Afro was saying, don't want to give it up to the next generation. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to put in your work on your time here. And then when you're done, you give the baton to the next man or woman in line. And then they run with it. And then when they get of age like you, they pass it on. We have a community where they don't want to do it. They'd rather just get old, die, and just hold on to the baton and leave us with nothing. This is what the civil rights era did. So it's almost like us, everyone in this room, the brothers and the sisters, we're actually fixing the mess that the older elders created when they failed us. You know what they say, our elders failed us, our leaders mislead us. And we're actually cleaning them up now. Like every little stain that they ever made for the last, 60 years post civil rights era, we're the ones actually out here cleaning. And it shouldn't be our job to do so. You know what I'm saying? We should be reaping the benefits of it just the same way the dominant society does. This is why somebody in the dominant society, they come out of high school, with cars or like Afro was saying, with knowledge, how to get it, whether they have it or not. Most of them have it and they have access to the wealth. If they do not have access to the wealth, they have access to the knowledge on how to attain it. Since we were failed by our elders and we weren't, given that proper knowledge because they were stingy and stubborn and didn't want to help the next person. Now younger people are having to be boosted up and play the role. So us as young folks, I'm assuming, in our 30s and 20s, some of us in our 40s, we're actually playing the role of an elder that's 60 years old. And it shouldn't be this way. There's an interview with Tupac, if you guys ever seen it. And Tupac is talking, I think it's in Indiana Expo. It's like a 91. And he's going off on the whole crowd. At this time, Tupac is, 20 something, maybe 20. I think he passed away at 25. So he's maybe 19, 20. And he's yelling at the same people that we're talking about now. He's talking about the Clyburns, the Jesse Jacksons, the Al Sharptons. It's just at that time, they were 40 and holding back the baton. And now Tupac's gone. And his generation are the older ones. And we're still having the same conflict with them dinosaurs back then, today. But unfortunately for them, this era's got them. I always say, if nature don't get your ass up out of here, B1s will. And we are. So we're cleaning up everything. We got to pop our collar and salute ourselves. Because at this moment in time, young folks shouldn't have to play the role of the elders, but we built for
it. The reality is that these older folks, they're in competition with us. Because think about it. How in the world is there only one Jason Black and there's 46 million black people in America? And there's only one Jason Black. And I'm pretty sure most of us in here could attest that that's the only one of the only black successful men we know that are not coons, that got money, that's successful, that cares about black people. Like, I don't know much. Only one Jason Black, only one Tariq Nasheed and Professor Black. We just got three. So that means none of the elders, they don't care, they're not concerned. And that goes back to what I was saying about community. In black communities, what happens? They go to work, go to school, come home, and they just walk right inside their house. What do white people do? They have meetings. They have community boards. They have Facebook groups. Like, they stay connected. They maintain that community relationship. Why? Because this is how everybody strives all together, not just one of us is striving. They stay connected. With us, we don't stay connected. We walk inside our house and we don't speak to anybody else. We don't speak to the neighbors. We don't speak to the security guard. Nobody's connected.
Yeah, and also with the code, remember what I said in the last space? Got to watch out for them black conservatives because their code is to make sure that the rest of us stay like dumb black folks. So I put something in the jumbotron. And remember, I said, watch out when the black conservatives start talking about reparations. Now, this was last year, but you're going to start hearing this again. They're going to start saying, "Oh, well, if you're going to pay off people whose family were enslaved, you're going to have to pay off the people whose family did the enslaving," just so they can justify it and keep their white audience happy. So make sure when you guys hear that talk, you kill it right there.
Oh, it's coming right now. It's coming. Like right now, we're in the era of the B1, and we're getting so on code that they're going to put a whole agenda on, a whole apparatus to misdirect us. You're going to hear conservatives, you're going to hear liberals. They're going to start taking our talking points. We said about it on the other space. They're terminology thieves. You're going to start hearing them say, I've literally, I'm not lying, I've seen a Republican saying B1 personally, like somebody I personally know. It was a Republican. He said B1. Now, we all know he ain't B1. But he understands how to take that and try to flip it on black folks so he can misconstrue our points. So it's coming right now. There's always a consequence or a blowback whenever we get on code. And unfortunately, back in the past, when they would get on code, they weren't prepared enough for the blowback. And they would end up going astray, and the movement that we would galvanize would end up getting knocked off rail because they didn't understand. I think right now with the Jason Blacks, the Tariq Nasheeds, the Afro Elites, the Kid Gravities, Rich, Black Alpha Network, Queen Alpha, I think with people like us, we're prepared for the blowback. You know what I'm saying? When they go back to the supremacist drawing board and then they come back with some bullshit, we'll be ready for them and we waiting on them. We stay ready so we ain't got to get ready. Back in the old days, they would just do some shit and think they arrived and start throwing their plantation celebrations. You know, so right now we got to be ready for the Candaceons of the world, the Tamika Mallory. Look at her. I mean, look at everybody. As you were just saying a second ago, Rich, there's no Jason Blacks. How the fuck is there 48 million black folks in America and there's only one lawyer, Ben Crump, to get all the goddamn jobs? This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And it's time we got to start moving out people like him. Just like we want to move out the Black Caucus, we got to start moving out these guys who hold these positions until literally they're dinosaurs. We got to get them up out of here and get that representation to reflect the people.
Yes, sir. But anybody want to come up on the stage, just raise your hand. We get you up here. If you're FBA, tell us how any experiences you've had telling people this is the way it is and you're not going to get us off our square. Or if you're not FBA, tell us why what we've been saying for almost an hour is off track. And we'll let you talk for as long as we allow you to.
Hey, let's Will come up in here and Rich gonna get him.
I'd rather he didn't, because then that's going to be a 30-minute conversation.
I don't know. I think Rich might go for the knockout blow tonight. That might be about 30 seconds.
Well, let's do it where we can get some views and people can get some AdSense on.
No, that's a good point. But yeah, hey, the reason why, it's the FBA against the world, because every time we turn around, we've circled our wagons at this point in time. And I call what I say it's the G check list. It's the B1 G check list. It's like somebody owe you money. You got 5 people that owe you money. You put their names on the list and you go down one by one by one. We just start checking them. For the last, I'd say 5 years, we'll say 3 years to be safe. FBAs, B1s, we've been going around and, we've been checking folks who ain't been coming correct. Everybody's the Democratic Party, and they've been getting checked. They got to deal with an assault from us that they've never had before. They were very comfortable. They was kicking their feet up and just lying to black folks with no type of consequences or repercussions. The black church was selling them. Now they got to deal with us. Now we questioning them about them lies. We got black Democrats hiding their head in the sand because we're really challenging them on why they ain't came through with them premiums yet. So they're getting checked. The whole diaspora situation. A lot of these folks who've been hating on black Americans for years, having these one-sided relationships for years, we checking them too. The Black and Brown Coalition, they getting G-checked. Everybody, we're circling our wagons, and that's the most definitive thing that's been going on in this era, is that FBA, we start to self-identify, B1 start to self-identify, and now we coming after everybody who owes us. And if you owe us and you ain't paying up, you're gonna get G-checked, and it's a beautiful thing. That's why I definitely call it FBA against the world. I mean, I tell people all the time, if it's not FBA against the world, name me one group on the whole. I'll give you the whole planet. We ain't even got to talk about 50 states. We ain't got to talk about America. We ain't got to talk about the Western Hemisphere. Give me one group on the face of this earth that is a genuine ally of foundational black Americans. Now, I just gave you the whole earth. 7 billion people, and we can't think of one group. I'm not talking about your 2 or 3 friends. I'm not talking about your people that came to our rally and held up a damn sign and wore Black Lives Matter t-shirt. Name me one group that has actually been a genuine ally of foundational black Americans. You can't think of one. Now, when you start thinking about these other groups, you have NATO, European groups all together. You got the League of Nations. You got all types of groups. that all work, different countries that are all simultaneously combined working together. When it comes to FBAs, we can't think of one out of 7 billion people on this earth because nobody's got our back. So it truly is us against the world, and we got to own it. We got to love it. I love it. I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? Because if we had, people that had our back, we wouldn't be who we are. So it's better to do what we do under the type of situation that we in. So yes, FBA against the world, and I wear that proud. I wear it real, real proud.
Not only that, the people who do pose as people who are allies, quote unquote allies to us, they have their own personal agenda and personal benefit for it. I remember in 2020 when the pandemic just started and everybody was locked down, you couldn't really go anywhere, everything was closed, and then the uprisings happened, and everybody was outside protesting, and I saw too many black people who were just in awe of how many non-black people were outside protesting with them. They were like, "Oh my God, you see, they finally understand our pain. They finally get it now." First off, I told them, first off, they're doing that because protesting to them is like a game. It's fun to them. They're not doing this because they want to see anything change. They're doing this because it's fun to go outside and yell. They're not the ones who are the police are arresting. They're not the ones who are largely getting targeted by the police and beat up and bit with dogs and sprayed with tear gas. They're not those ones. They're out there. They say Black Lives Matter. They put it in their damn Instagram bio, and then they leave. Two, it's not like they could do anything anyway. It's not like water parks were open at that time. It was either go outside and protest or stay in the house, and they'd rather go outside and protest. And three, and I feel like more importantly, they did that, and now too many of them feel like black society owes them something. If we remember last year when the Asian hate crime propaganda popped up, you had a lot of Asians who were all like, well, we helped you guys. We protested for Black Lives Matter. So where's our support? You owe us now. So we can't be deceived. Anytime you see a non-black person, quote unquote, help us, just know that there's something that they're trying to get on the back end. If they're not trying to piggyback, there's always some type of hidden agenda to their intentions. Because if it was pure, they would have been dead. Okay, George Floyd was not nearly the first black person who was killed on camera, and he hasn't been the last since. But they did it. What they didn't have internet until George Floyd. No, they didn't care prior to George Floyd. They didn't care really during George Floyd, and they don't care now. And black people need to stop being so amazed and like flabbergasted over the fact that you see a non-black person say Black Lives Matter or throw their fist up in the air. And I'll land there.
They only want that so they can say the N word.
Oh, hey, that's a good point. I was thinking the same thing. They go around and really tell us what are we gonna do for them because they helped us so much. I seen all of that last year. You're absolutely correct, Afro. I seen every single group come to us like we owe them something because in their head they're these great allies. That we've done so much for the black community, and they ain't done shit, nothing. And that's got to change. That's got to change. Hopefully, we can get that up out of here.
2 articles just came out literally the other day. 2 separate articles. One was from Wells Fargo, and another one was from a news channel in Detroit. The one from Wells Fargo spoke about how back in I believe 2015 to 2022, black homeowners tried to refinance in order to remove the money out of their house and do whatever they want with it, whether it's investing or buying another house. Wells Fargo's denied black homeowners from refinancing their home. That was one article. Another article in Detroit, there was a bunch of homeowners in Detroit that got their taxes raised so high they end up losing their homes. A lot of black homeowners end up losing their homes. And just so you guys don't know, I remember she mentioned this, I think it was last year in a broadcast. He mentioned about that billionaire, I think his name is Dan Gilbert. He's the owner of TurboTax, and he's from Detroit. And I believe he's putting a stadium in Detroit. So the reason why they raised the taxes in Detroit is to make way for that new stadium that's coming, to get all the black homeowners out so the white homeowners could come, and so new money could start coming. So that's 2 instances where the dominant society, these white institutions, seen that black folks was about to make a lot of money by refinancing and by owning property in Detroit in these prime locations. And in one instance, they denied them from refinancing, and in another instance, they raised the taxes and had to move out of there. That's how important community is, because when you have community, when you have a neighborhood full of black people, full of supermarkets, black schools, black gyms, black churches, black playgrounds, black parks, black doctors, black hospitals, now you have value. You have social value. And not only do you have social value, you have a community. So when something happens to you, when you're in an emergency, you can call on your neighbor to help you out. But when you have black neighborhoods where nobody speaks to each other, nobody do business with each other, now the dominant society could just come in and do whatever they want because there's no community. And other cultures know this. This is why the Chinese in Brooklyn, they have their own neighborhood. The Jews have their own neighborhood. The Indians have their own neighborhood. The white folks have their own neighborhood. The Italians have their own neighborhood, and they control everything that goes on in the neighborhood. So that way, whenever anybody tries to do something, everybody's on code and everybody follows suit. So I just wanted to say that. I'll land there.
Nah, that's a good point as well, brother. Like that's why we get regenified so much. Regenified. I'm from a city like about 30 minutes outside of Detroit. It's called Toledo, Ohio. Even though I live down in Georgia right now, but I'm a northern. I'm from Toledo, Ohio, and just the regenification that goes on up there. And I seen it in Detroit when I came up. Detroit, and I'm not even old. But when I came up, Detroit was just starting to decline. And every time I would come back up from traveling, Detroit was worse and worse and worse. And they literally, I mean, people got to remember, Detroit used to be the Black Mecca. You had Harlem back in the old days, the Renaissance days. You had Harlem, then you had Detroit, you had Motown, and Atlanta and whatever. Like kids saying, Atlanta's going down the drain now. They're removing the Black Mecca from us. You know what I'm saying? We've always had a Black Mecca in the United States of America. That's always been the case. And now you're starting to see that decline. I mean, if you start saying where's the Black Mecca now, people wouldn't even know where to point to. Back in the old days, you could always point to somewhere. So in Detroit, a lot of those people used to rely on factory jobs. And the same where I'm from, a lot of those outside towns, Ashtabula, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus, they relied on a lot of the Lansing, Michigan. They relied on industry jobs, and they would literally just strip those jobs away from people. Now, the dominant society people who lost their jobs, they were able to slide and pivot into something else. A lot of black folks weren't. I went up to Ohio just a couple years ago. My brother took me around, and he was just pointing. He was like, yo, this right here, that's about to be gone. This right here, about to be gone. And what they say, when you start seeing them Starbucks popping up, then black folks about to get popping out. And that's what started happening. You started to see it, and it was a whole remodeling. Rich, you from NY, Queen Alpha, you from NY, you guys know what regenification looks like. You know what it's identical. You know what they say, you can't even love the Harlem no more. You gotta love the old Harlem. Same what happened after Hurricane Katrina with New Orleans. It flip-flopped. So what ends up happening now is as you were saying, Rich, to pick up your point, when you have no community, they can just regenify you. They can just literally say, get your shit out. You got to go in, 3 weeks. Who are you going to go to? I mean, what community are you going to stand up and say, we're going to stop this together? What political representation do you have to actually put a prevent to it? Nobody. We have nowhere to go. They'll never, ever regenify other groups. I'm not going to say names, but other groups. They would never do that. They're not going to drive and just put a highway right through another community. They won't do it because the other groups won't go for it. We have no voice in any representation, so therefore they're allowed to do this. So that's another reason why your point is very good, Rich. When you got a community, you can prevent the outside world from, just basically evicting you. We're getting evicted by communities, not just like a house. You think of eviction, you think of just getting somebody out of their apartment. They're evicting whole black communities at one time. And Detroit speaks for that. Afro, I know what you're talking about up there in like Chicago and up there in Illinois area, all that industrial Midwest area gone, East Coast gone, and it's actually starting to happen in the Deep South. So if that's happening in the Deep South where the majority of black people exist, then it's a problem. So this is why representation is such a big key.
By the way, I know most of you guys are not from New York. Harlem is only a mile and a half long, and Harlem is known all around the world. Harlem is only a mile and a half. It's not long. That's not even that's smaller than the smallest towns in America. Only a mile and a half. And guess who put Harlem on the map? Black people. Guess who owns nothing in Harlem? Black people. Why? Because we don't understand real estate. We don't understand community. We understand culture. We got the culture thing locked down. We know how to get things popping. But as far as finances, as far as real estate, as far as land, as far as community, we don't we don't see the value in it, and other people see the value in that. But Harlem is only a mile and a half, and Harlem is known all around the world.
Yeah. But anyway, we got a speaker on the floor. So, Mr. Engaging, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you, good brothers, for that suggestion about people who are non-FBA. They need to pay a tax or concession to the candidates for reparations. We had an incident in one of the spaces. I suggested that, and I just want to give you just a tad bit, just say thanks. It was a very positive suggestion. It was good to see it in action, and it's good to apply.
Mr. Gage, where are you located?
I'm in Connecticut, fam. I understand exactly what you're talking about. When you even talked about Toledo, my father, who passed away, was born out that way. So you hitting a lot. You hitting home in so many ways you don't even know. I got family out in Detroit, North Side, West Side.
How about Hartford, Connecticut? Talk to me about Hartford, Connecticut, because I've been
Hartford. Okay, Hartford's bad, fam, right now. They got this black and brown bullshit that's going on. I'm gonna give it to you unfiltered, and it's killing us. We had black people that were in the community that was pushing for reparations. Shout out to the Solidarity people. They know who they are. They were pushing for it. This jackass, and I'm going to use it unfiltered. This guy undermined a reparation bill, but he wants to talk about a pet bill. So like this is our black representation, and that needs to be uprooted from our community, because as of right now, they're not supporting black-owned businesses. They're not supporting black-owned institutions, and they're not backing a black-owned meal center, which is in New London, which is where state representative that I'm talking about is from, who is going up and back and forth from Hartford. So it is a very deep issue when our black representation is hiding in these black and Latino caucuses and allowing them to run and dictate our agendas respectfully. That's what's going on in Hartford from what I observe.
And this is what they do. The white society, they watch us. They sit back and watch us. They like, look at these niggas. We gonna allow them to kill each other. We gonna allow them to do whatever they want, sell drugs to each other, commit crimes, robberies. Or we're gonna watch all that, and then we're gonna use this as an excuse why we gentrify.
Yeah. I mean, look at what the reparations could do for towns like Hartford, Bridgeport, Stanford, because Stanford's starting to go to hell too.
Waterbury, dirty water.
Waterbury, Trumbull. Well, maybe not so much Trumbull, but
New Haven.
Yeah, New Haven's bad. And what colleges are in New Haven?
We got Yale, New Haven, right down the street, fam. And it's funny that you brought them up. I don't had to check a couple of people up on that campus because they want to talk about slavery through antiquity. And I'm going to spread this to you guys right now. If you hear anybody saying slavery through antiquity, they're trying to undermine modern day slavery that happened to us. Chattel slavery. Go into that space and tell them what it is, and don't let them get away with it. I'm just letting y'all know as a warning, because this is something that they passed down in Yale 2 or 3 years ago, and it was by a Jewish man, ironically enough. So just be on the lookout, fam. Be on the lookout.
I have a brief announcement to make. I have been in contact with Will, and Will has agreed to debate Rich when Rich is available.
Oh, it's going down.
We do it. Let's do it Friday night. That's a good way to end off the week. We do it Friday night.
I'll check to see his availability.
Yeah, check his availability. Friday night would be perfect.
Queen Alpha. Hold on real quick. Queen Alpha, we can get the popcorn ready. We're going to pull up on that one. We watching that side by side on the
TV. You got to put that on the TV.
Big screen.
Afro Elite, I want to say personally, thank you for your suggestion in the other space. It was applied. Salute to you.
Thank you. Thank you. What suggestion exactly?
Making these brothers pay up, or these sisters pay up, who ain't no freedmen or ain't no FBA. They need to pay up when they come in these spaces and pay our candidates before they speak. They don't need to be coming in our spaces talking all willy-nilly without paying no concessions, if you get what I mean.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm leading by example, because I would be considered a tether, but Tamara and Marcel got money from me, and I got the receipt to prove it.
Yeah,
hey, I gotta big y'all up though, man. You know, there's this thing now, and this needs to be said, and I'm gonna be the one to say it, because anybody who subscribes to my channel, Black Alpha Network, YouTube, hit it up, and as well as the other brothers, y'all know I'm uncut and I say what the fuck need to be said, not what people want to hear. Lineage based is a great thing, but that applies to culture and that applies to reparations. There's B1 folks that are not FBAs who are full-time riders, and it's on us to decipher between who is who. I don't want to see no real B1 rider get caught up in he's not FBA or they're not FBA, so they BS. That's why I love the idea that Afro just presented, to where if you down and you really putting your tangible, your allies got to be tangible now. We also talk about tangible policies, and Afro suggestion is you're gonna have to be tangible in terms of your actual, friendship, your relationship, your companionship with us. That's why I like that. So everybody out there who's a real B1 rider, I don't care where you're from, I'll take 1,000,000 B1 riders over an FBA coon. You know what I'm saying? And I'm an FBA through and through, both sides to the core. But at the end of the day, I don't want nobody out here hating on somebody that is from an area that's not, the killing fields of the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, Clyburn is too. You know what I'm saying? Clyburn is too. Jesse Jackson, all the motherfuckers is FBA coons. You know what I'm saying? And we're too far in the game now that we need to be able to decipher it. We need to know who's who and who's not. That's why I like the suggestion that Afro Elite presented, because it gives us clarity by who's holding us down. Because I got brothers and sisters all over that hold, that's really, really down for the team. And then I got some other folks that, really will ride for us. So that needs to be clear. That needs to be put on the table.
Yes, sir. All right. Mr. Engaging, go ahead, and then you're up.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond to that. I'll explain a little bit of the scenario. There was a woman that was running for office in Philly, and she was talking about making freedmen's UBIs or whatever. Ain't talking about no reparations. And I was really kind of offended that this woman actually got on the stage. We're talking about reparations day, whole bunch of things that's empowering us. And this woman comes up who ain't one of us, who ain't empowering us, ain't putting no dollars in the basket. None of that nonsense. But yet still, you want to share your goddamn idea. That just burned my soul. I don't know why. It just burned my soul. And I feel like making these people pay to play. It's granted. I think it should be done on code. So I just want to thank you, Afro Elite and y'all brothers, for putting that suggestion out there. I'm just going to keep on pushing it and make sure that people follow on code with it.
Yes, sir.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
sir.
You're welcome. People definitely going to start putting skin in the game, because anybody can say something, but when you show me where your money goes, then you show me what you really believe in the words of Jason Black. So, if anybody can talk it, but if you actually put some money in it, then yeah, I can listen to you after that. But no, I'm not just going to allow you to come in the room, especially as a non-black person, non-B1 person, come in the room and start giving suggestions and trying to tell us what to do. No, there's a fee for entering here.
That's all I was saying. And thank you, brothers.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna say this real quick before you go further, kid. If anybody out there is listening and you have any horror stories about regentrification or any type of assault that you've seen on FBA in your community, pull up. I want to hear what you got to say. We've already talked about Connecticut. We talked about Ohio.
I got one in Texas for y'all that y'all do need to be aware of about these civic.
Speak on it.
I'm sorry, damn. I know you got a lot to say, brother, and I really do.
No, hey, no, brother. No, I'm giving you the floor. I want to hear it, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. For those that don't know, I'm part of the civic community, yada, yada, yada. There's this old school Lions Club, and I want y'all guys to pull up on this old school Lions Club out in Texas, specifically Austin, Texas, and I'm giving y'all the green light to do so. These old brothers here think it's okay to have to integrate an historical black club. As of right now, they're going to have a white man be a president of a historical black club. That right there pissed me off. I said, you can't even reach out to the neighborhood and educate these brothers, work with these young brothers and sisters. You felt empowered to have this young white man take over this position, and because you guys feel he has no malice in his heart. I'm like, brother, there's got to be some other higher criteria that you guys move with. So I'm advising you, do your research. If you want more research on it, you can Google me, you can DM me, and we could talk about it and come up with a plan. Because I want specifically people in the Texas area to call these guys out and say, this is unacceptable. You can't go around saying that you're a predominantly black organization, a predominantly black club, have our interests, but have a white man in front of it. I can't stomach it.
Yes, sir. But, they already allowed the HBCUs to do it. So, it's just going to trickle down to everything. But, Nino, go ahead, brother. You've been waiting a little bit.
Salute to the family. Salute to the family. I wanted to correct something the kid Gravity said real quick, and I mean this out of love. You said you would be considered a tether. I had to disagree with you, brother, and I specified the space that I did yesterday. Just because you may not be of FBA background does not make tether. And I feel like, fortunately, too many people, I know when Tariq coined that term or whatever, unfortunately, the B1 community, we got a lot of following. You got to tell these people step by step what to do, because then they act like lost sheep, and I don't like, because when Tariq used that term, his mind, he thought it was common sense that, okay, not every immigrant is against us, not every person of immigrant background is against us or is a tether or whatever. But because we got some very short-sighted, low IQ, high running around calling themselves B1, they took what he said at face value and just start calling everybody an immigrant, not labeling everybody immigrant, labeling all immigrants an enemy and labeling them all tethered, thinking like, oh, it's B1 against everybody. FBA against everybody. If you're an immigrant, you automatically are an enemy, and that's not the case, which I'm glad that he has now started, specifying, hey, not just because you're an immigrant doesn't make you a tether. So I just wanted to, correct you on that, Kid Gravity. You would not be a tether. A tether would be somebody who is of non-FBA background, who tries to move like us, tries to talk like, and then does their best to try to hide back. That's a tether.
And also, they
Yes, sir.
undermine the community. They also undermine the community. You're not
Absolutely.
undermining the community, brother Kid Gravity. Not at all. You're uplifting
Absolutely.
our community.
I'm trying.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, Nino.
And
Before you continue, did you saw my DM, right?
yeah. I'm actually about to make some real major moves. I don't want to say too much on this space.
Yeah, don't
But
don't.
yeah.
You know they
But
watching you.
yeah.
Yeah.
With that being said, I appreciate it though. But yeah, I'm about to make some real major moves real soon. So with that being said, and also I wanted the situation with Dan Gilbert that Rich was speaking on. I just wanted to also just throw in a little supplemental information that y'all know that Dan Gilbert is also the owner of Lear.
Yes,
That
sir.
was the guy that LeBron, kind of had a little rough relationship with his whole professional career, and then also the last.
Damn, they got him.
Damn, it wasn't me this time. Ain't that so?
Look, they got him. All right. So here's the new rule for the room. When brother Nino walks in, we don't say his name. We call him Nino. We got to throw the algorithm off. We got to throw the bots off because they must really hate this man.
I wanted to add on to what he was saying. The reason why we have all these black celebrities that have money, that's around wealthy white people, that's around other wealthy black people, the reason why we have so much of them and they don't do anything for us is because they're bug broken. Like they're gone. See, one thing about I respect about the JEW community, they're not in the media. All of them are in the background, and they control everything from the back. And when you move like that, then nobody could break you. You can't be used as a tool. When you're LeBron James, when you're Michael Jordan, when you're Jay-Z, and you have to partner with the dominant society. Oh, I think Nino's back. But when you're part of
Yeah, my bad,
when
y'all.
you
I had DoorDash drop. My bad. But go ahead, Rich. Finish your
okay, go
thought. Go ahead.
no, go ahead,
No,
go
I'm
ahead, go
walking
ahead.
outside right now. Go ahead and finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when you have to partner with the dominant society, you have to follow their rule. The JEW community, they're in the background and controlling everything. So they make the rule. So this is why when you go to in their community, you see they got the schools, their own schools, they got their own restaurants, they got their own markets, they got their own playgrounds. They make they have their own Toys R Us. They have everything that they need inside their community because they control what they want to control. These black celebrities, they're bug broken. So they follow the rules of the dominant society. This is why they do nothing for it. They don't come back to the community. When they donate, they give out book bags during back to school. What the hell are we gonna do with fucking book bags? Really? Do you really think a black child is doing bad in school because he don't have a book bag? Really, nigga? Or they come back during Thanksgiving and give out turkey. What the hell a nigga gonna do with a turkey? Well, I'm gonna cook dinner for one day, but what about the 364 days that I'm starving in here? What am I gonna do with that?
Well, that's
So
a good ass point. That's a good ass point, Rich.
so they're very slick. They do certain they pretend like they're looking out for us. Or even and Jason Black called us out. He called out Robert Smith. Robert Smith, my brother, you're worth $6 billion, and yeah, you paid off the tuitions for the Morehouse brothers, which is a good thing. I respect that and I like that. But brother, you're in finance. You know how important it is to have institutions. You know it. And instead of investing in a black school, a black HBCU, building your own black HBCU, investing in the black community, you decided to pay off student loan, which is cool. But is that the most powerful move you can make?
No,
No.
the
I see
most
you saying, hey,
powerful
Rick,
move.
you saying it's cool, but it ain't good enough.
No, the most powerful move was like, listen, all you brothers that I just paid off, y'all got internships for the summer, and I'm gonna evaluate all y'all. Some of y'all gonna work for me. The rest, I'm gonna send you out to other brothers around the country. That's would have been the move, but everybody did it for a photo op. So
Remember,
I ain't knocking what he did. I mean, There were females that already did it enough when he dropped it, but that should have been the move. That way, that example could have been sent out to other people with money. Like that's how you elevate the community. But like I said, he did it. People followed him. He got what he wanted out of it, and he goes home to his white woman. So it is what it is.
It's the old adage. It's the old adage. Everyone's heard it before. If you give somebody the ability to feed you, you giving them the ability to starve. And unfortunately, black folks been eating off the plate of the dominant society instead of building our own. This was integration. You know what I'm saying? Tariq talked about it the other day, and he talked about how John Henrik Clark talked about it. We could have had reparations in the 1960s, but the agenda became, I just want to be next to W's. I want to have white women in Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Instead of building your own, you want to go sit in someone else's house and sit at someone else's table and get clothed and fed from somebody, aka giving them the ability to feed you. Now they have the ability to starve you. So now they just take away instead of feeding for yourself and getting your own. What we should have done, like how we always say, I don't need to come in your house and ask for a room. You know what I'm saying? Give me some tools and I'll build my own fucking house. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we really got to get to that point, to where we're not, relying upon the dominant society's food, their clothing, their shelter, none of that. We built the country. What kind of foolishness is that, where you built the country, but yet you still got to live in his house? Fuck living in his house. I built this damn land his house is built on. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mentality that us certifieds got. So we got to get back to, having our own independence, this thing. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad laid this out in the 1960s. A lot of the blueprints for Black America have already been laid out. It's just Black America didn't follow it. We went, in a misdirected routine. So once we get rid of that misdirected routine and we get back to something that's pure and thorough, then we'll have exactly what we want.
Really quickly, I just want to close to saying blackout. Is and that's the reason why education should never be suggested as a form of reparations, because how many people do you know that went to school, went to college, got degrees and stuff, actually go on to start their own business? Most of the business owners I know, and I have multiple degrees in my name. Most of the business owners my age are people who didn't go to college or didn't finish college. You know what I'm saying? So all school does is you have to become a good employee. You get what I'm saying? And it's like you were saying, man, you can either feed somebody the fish, or you can teach the man how to. And I feel like that's what we need to start gravitating to, is teaching the people how to fish. But what I was saying before I phone was just speaking on the gentrification thing, and I'm not going to take up too much of y'all time because I'm about to chow down. But just some examples of it. I'm out here in Atlanta, and there's so many different examples of it occurring in Atlanta. It's ridiculous. I know most recently out here on the west side, like Vine City. Vine City is a small community over nearby what is now the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Used to be the Georgia Dome. They call it the Bluff. If y'all remember that movie Snow on the Bluff, it's that neighborhood. My church, so I pretty much grew up over there all the time I've been in Atlanta. And right now, when they started building Mercedes-Benz Stadium, man, they started pushing people out like immediately. Like I'm talking about, just start pushing people out, pricing them out their house, and even now with the Mercedes-Benz Stadium has been up and running for a few years now, they doing some even more underhanded shit now where they fucking with the water system. They finding all types of harmful chemicals in the water and stuff. And mind you, this is in Atlanta. This is in a hot area. That's over there right by Centennial Park, by the Ferris wheel and everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tourist attract, but yet the people that live in that area is drinking tainted water. And it's just so crazy how they do this to us. And I know another example of that happening is, if you could follow the railways of the MARTA Atlanta, and usually they only go through Black neighborhoods for the most part, or it used to be a Black neighborhood. I know where is that, like over by East Point, by Lakewood, going through by Tyler Perry's movie studio and stuff. Man, it's a big ass railway station going right all the way up and down through Black neighborhoods and stuff. Ain't nothing but crack houses and everything else. But let the modern thing wipe it down real quick. Oh no, we don't want public transportation over here. You know what I'm saying? They turned it down real quick. But the Black people seem like we don't even have no say. So for Atlanta to be this Black Mecca like everybody keep trying to say, or Wakanda and everything, man, we sure ain't got no say so about what's going on over here. So that's just something I just wanted to put in the air real quick. I'm about to start eating my food, but I'm still listening though.
Yeah, you know how long it took them to put one up in Buckhead?
Right, and you see how Buckhead, they try to become their own city.
Yeah, because they don't want to deal with Atlanta politics no more. They want to be on their own little enclave so they can charge whatever they want.
And guess what? I'm going to say something that's very unpopular, but I actually respect those white supremacists that want to take over Buckhead. And let me tell you why. They're about business, man. They're looking at us like, oh, yeah. Sure. They're looking at us like, oh, y'all don't want to handle business? So we know how to handle business. We know how to take a town and turn it into profit. So y'all could sit here. Y'all could, and by the way, I was in Buckhead last year. I was in like a very nice penthouse. I'm not gonna say not the hotel. I was in Airbnb, but it was literally across the street from Lenox Mall. Very nice. And the hotel, the Airbnb I was at, it was a high rise building, and it was a whole bunch of ratchet stuff going down. So these white folks, they know how to handle business. They looking at us like, okay, y'all want to play around? Y'all want to turn Buckhead to this ratchet place? Okay, well we got the bag, we got the mind for it. We're gonna turn this into what we want to turn this into because we gave you the opportunity to do something with it, and you said you didn't want to do nothing, so we'll take over, no problem. And that goes back to what Neely Fuller says, that white mommy and white daddy effect, where we think we can't control our own destiny. So we think white mommy and white daddy always got to come save us because we don't know how to do it. In Philadelphia. I lived in Philadelphia for 2 years. That's a black city. Homes in Philadelphia are like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You could get a home in Philadelphia for that cheap, and we don't run a damn thing in over there in Philadelphia either. So it's global. This thing is all over the United States. It's not just in New York and Philly. It's all over where we don't believe we can control our community. In New York City, you have a whole bunch of bodegas that's run by Hispanics and Arabs.
And they finna raise the rent again.
Exactly. Like around the corner from me, one of the corner stores, it's in the oldest plaza in the United States. It's a very small plaza. It has about 12 stores in it, and Arabs own about 2 stores in it, and they literally live across the street, and that store is open 24/7. They own a home that's worth about $2 million. It's literally right across the street. Literally right across the street. They were able to buy that home from our dollars.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because we don't think like owners. We don't think like business owners. We don't think like homeowners. We don't think like people who run our communities. So we walk inside their store, spend money, and then walk away. We don't walk inside their store, spend money, like, damn, I'm tired of spending money with these motherfuckers. Let me open my own corner store. We don't think like that. But whoever wants to speak next, go ahead.
Yeah,
Brother
something
Rich,
that's
I want to
engaging.
expand. Yeah, I want to expand upon what you guys are saying about that, especially that Buckhead situation. People got to understand about those organizations that they're a part of. They're discussing. They have a underhand written rule saying they don't want you to discuss politics, but them white folks are discussing politics, and they're figuring out a way to undermine other communities. Like, for example, I live in New London, right, in Connecticut, which is right across the street from Mystic. Basically, all the rich white folks from Mystic wants to be a part of New London and take New London out, and they want to live in New London and take the resources from New London. With that being said, they use like these civic organizations to monitor our community, to volunteer in our community. And this is one thing I get pissed off about, and I'd be kicking these people the hell out of our institutions. Like, I don't want them to be volunteering in our spaces, in our black spaces. I don't care if they're an ally or not, because at the end of the day, this is not your place. This is not something that your ancestors built, and that has to be a message that's hitting home no matter where an individual's at. And with that being said, they use these organizations to take over these type of communities and do extensive planning. And I think that we should be doing the same thing. That's just my only rebuttal. Where's the black equivalent to actually go at them the exact same way?
Really quickly, I agree with everything you just said. But one thing I want to point out is why, black people, we always feel like we got to inclusive group out of everybody, and we need to start moving like the white people do. I mean, I'm not saying that to be no coon or nothing, but listen, when I'm competing against another team and I see that team is constantly moving my ass, you know what I'm saying? I probably should start taking note about what is that team doing and seeing how I can implement it myself, and if not improve upon. So with that being said, and excuse me, y'all, I told you I'm over here eating. But for instance, when they do have to include other people into their groups, to be not accused of being racist, even though they still are, even if they do include some non-white faces in there, what they do is they handpick Negroes to put in those positions, or non-white people in those positions. They pick people that they know is going to play ball, or if fulfill their agenda even when they're not around. Black people, we get a white person that come in there with the lowest amount of qualifications, doing the bare minimum, just because that person wear a Black Lives Matter shirt. We feel like, oh, that's an ally. We put that person in a position of authority, communities, or in our groups, and then that person pivot. You get what I'm saying? We need to start putting it. If we going to include white people in our spaces, we need to make sure it's somebody that's going to bend the knee to us. If y'all catch what I'm saying. For example, just really quickly, I don't know if y'all remember in the other space that y'all did last. I don't know if y'all remember the white boy Ryan that was in the group, and he ended up paying $100 to Marcel's fund. But yeah, Ryan, he called himself, be an ally, whatever, which is admirable, and so far, he has been trying to be consistent with it ever since that day because he's constantly blowing me up. I'm sure he blowing Afro up too. But I know he messaged me in Afro in a DM, and I feel comfortable speaking about this because we're not talking about nothing important. So I feel comfortable speaking about this public. But he basically said, "Hey, I have suggestions like for one that hashtag is too long." And I'm like, what hashtag you talking about? He's about the reparations over everything. And he said he went on to explain like why the hashtag and why we should change it. And I ain't even read the full message because as soon as I saw he started trying to offer suggestions, I checked him right there. I said, "Hey man, listen, Ryan, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane." You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm just trying to offer suggestions. So, hey, I hear you, but I don't care. If you want to be helpful, what you need to go do is go run back to the white community and start taking names of who the anti-black racists are, and then come back and report to us. That's how you can be helpful. Don't come over here and start trying to tell us what to do to be helpful. You get what I'm saying? So I just feel like we need to start doing like the white folks. We're gonna have any person that's not black in our spaces or in our groups or whatever. We need to make sure it's somebody that, for lack of a better term, they are a little bit. I don't know how else to say it. You know what I'm
And
saying?
They can move the boxes. They can
and,
move the boxes
and
of
this is
empowerment.
and this is why I'm against weed smoking. I'm against liquor drinking. I don't do none of that. I'm not interested in none of that. I'm not interested in anybody who does that. If you are, on a case by case basis, but that weed smoking, that drinking, once a nigga get to start doing that, he just want to relax. He don't want to. He don't want to accomplish nothing. He don't want to come up with any plans. He just want to sit there, watch TV, go on YouTube, watch other black families making money, watch other people make money, blast hip hop music. Once a dude gets to weed smoking and drinking, that's what happened. But when you sober, 100% sober all the time, and you high off life, and you just pick one agenda, one thing to focus on, and you get to focus, that's when you start accomplishing things. These white boys, they put on their suits and they get their agenda going. They get that plan, that roadmap going. They get them floor plans written, and they get down to handling business. With us, we want to smoke weed, and like I said, I'm not against everyone. I'm against 99.9% of people who smoke, because people in our neighborhood, in our communities who smoke weed, damn near all of them smoke weed and they don't do nothing. At least smoke weed and then come up with a good plan for us. You just smoking weed, getting high. You don't come up with shit. You drinking champagne. You drinking Ciroc. You drinking all this expensive liquor, and you didn't accomplish nothing. You didn't come up with no plan. Now Nipsey Hussle, he smoked weed, he drink, but guess what? He was a high achiever. If you're a high achiever, oh, smoke more weed because you do, obviously it's working for you. But you sitting there smoking weed, drinking, partying up, and you're not accomplishing nothing. Dame Dash said it himself. He said, "Until you get your first million, don't smoke no weed." That's his rule. My rule is don't smoke nothing, don't drink nothing. Period.
I was gonna say, Nipsey. I don't know if y'all remember before he died. Nipsey wasn't smoking weed. He wasn't smoking weed for a while before he died. Matter of fact, I think the last interview he did prior to kill was the one he did with Tariq Nasheed. And then I don't know if y'all remember that interview, but even in that interview, he was talking about how he don't smoke weed no more. And then one of the girls, I think it was Layla. Layla had asked him, "So you gave up weed?" And he said, "No, I ain't saying I gave up weed forever, but as of right now, I'm not smoking." And that's kind of where I am with it right now myself. I didn't smoke weed throughout school and stuff because I was an athlete. But about my senior year after track season ended, that's when I started indulging in it because some of my friends was already in. But from then all through college, my sister died 2020, so about till 2020. I was a pretty much consistent weed smoker. And around that time, that's when all the riots happened and everything. And I felt a shift I don't know how to explain it. I just felt a shift in the world. I felt like, shit was getting real out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been on my pro-black shit, but I don't know. I just felt like, man, look, I'm getting older. I'm becoming a little bit more successful. I got to be a voice of reason out here. I got to be a voice of authority somewhat to a lot of these people that's younger than me. I got to be out here with a clear head. I got to be sober. So for about a good year and a half now, I ain't really been smoking like that. One time I was like, if I go around like my guy, which is, not even that much, he'll probably smoke so much. He'll hand it to me. I hit it one time, give it right back to him, and that's it. But you know what I'm saying? But when people ask me if I smoke and stuff, I tell them I smoke, but I don't tell them that more because when people find out you don't smoke, they find that as a challenge. You know what I'm saying?
Especially black people. Especially black people.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm Jamaican and I never puff, so I don't know what the fuck y'all be on when y'all be talking about that. I look weird.
Most Jamaicans I know don't smoke. That's the funny part. Most Jamaicans I know don't smoke. But I know, like, if you go around a group of black folks that smoke and they ask you if you smoke, and you say no, oh, they let you high for the rest of the, you know what I'm saying? But let you be on some, let you tell them, oh yeah, I smoke. Oh, they ain't even gonna want to pass you the blunt. Oh, they gonna be like, did you put in on this? You gonna match up? You got, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't even tell people too much that I don't smoke, because they find it as a challenge to try to get me get high and stuff. But I'm with Rich though. Ever since I've been sober, I got a lot more clarity. I'm a lot more productive. I mean, I was a functional weed head, but still, I don't know. I don't cleanse.
And and
So yeah.
I actually, as a teenager, I used to smoke too. I used to smoke weed too, but then I started realizing, wait, hold up. Everybody around me right now smokes weed, drinks. They're losers. I'm a loser. Okay, what's going on here? We're all losers. We all smoke weed. We all drinking. So this is a loser's choice. This is what losers do. They smoke weed all day and they drink all day. So for me to get out of this loser circle, let me stop doing this. And I haven't smoked since. I was probably 17 years old. Shit, I haven't smoked since. That was about 10, 20 years ago. 10, 15 years ago. I have not smoked since. Never took a puff, never took a drink, nothing. I'm 100% sober. And I expect every black man that's listening to this right now to be 100% sober. No drinking, no liquor. The only type of drinking or weed smoking you should be doing, you should be smoking power, wealth, and influence. That's it. That's what Jason Black says. Only power, wealth. Smoke that. Roll
Man,
that up.
it's gotten so bad out here though, especially out here in Atlanta, man. Which is another reason why I gotta get the fuck on. Man, it gets so bad out here, man. If a lot of females, if they find out you ain't smoking and shit, man, they not really trying to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? I know it's females that's not on that wave. But man, I'm talking about women who work blue collar jobs. They got that's degreed up and everything else. I'm not talking about just no some ratchet skanks or whatever. A lot of females, man, they smoke out here, and then they find out you don't smoke. I don't know, man. It's just different out here in Atlanta. It's like modern day Sodom. One of my little female friends, stuff like, she be smoking this stuff or whatever, and I told her like, look, I don't smoke. And at first, she wasn't really trying to hang with me like that. I was like, look, I don't care if you smoke around me. I'm just so she got a little bit more relaxed when I told her that. But yeah, it's really gotten to that point now where these females out here doing drugs like the niggas. But really quickly,
Hey, look at that! Look at that affinity for smoking, and then look who controls the legalized marijuana industry. We're literally talking about people that don't want to deal with you if you don't smoke. We're literally talking about females that look at motherfuckers sideways if they ain't burning. But yet, when you look at the marijuana industry, it's controlled again by the dominant society, where black folks have this strong marijuana culture, but yet we're in prison the most for petty marijuana possession, and then the dominant society, on the other hand, they're the ones out here selling it legally, not going to jail for it, but yet still, like Rich said, get up and start making money. So this is the shift of mentality that we got to take. If we're going to be on that wave and black folks put that much of an onus on smoking, man, hey, if you want to smoke all day long, own the motherfucking business, though, that sells weed legally. Do that. If I right now seen FBAs take over the marijuana industry, I tell everybody to roll up. But the fact is that we're out here smoking and being the consumer and not being the owner, even when it comes to marijuana.
Who is Rich
I'll even go
debating?
one
That's what I
step
wanted
further.
to ask really quickly. Who is Rich supposed to be debating? I heard that.
Brother Will. Matter of fact, Brother Will, I see is in the room. But we holding this for ratings, I guess. But yeah, Brother Will, the gentleman from last week.
I'm actually smoking on Friday. I don't know. I'm not gonna say what I'll be smoking on Friday.
You gonna be smoking that wheel pack?
Okay, so we doing the Saturday night special?
I'm all for it. Sign me up. Black Alpha's there.
Yeah, we gotta get
I
this.
wanted to comment.
Well, since he's not a speaker, he told me he's available next Monday night.
Say less. We do it next Monday. We start the week off right. We'll do it like that.
Hey, what's the
I wanted
headline?
to,
Let's see. Well, it's obviously going to be about. Well, it's obviously about reparations. That's the main topic. Okay, we'll call it like reparations from a conservative aspect versus, I guess, a B1 aspect. Because I think there's a sort of disconnect between conservatives and B1 society. I think there's like a strong disconnect there.
I've been doing research on Brother Will since last week, by the way, and I came up on some things. So, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we do that later. But Rich and him, they obviously got a disconnect. So I'm gonna let them hash it out on YouTube.
My
And, and if
Nino,
everybody in the room,
Nino,
make sure
listen, Nino, my DMs are open, and by the way, if Will wants to get his paperwork ready for me, any paperwork he wants to collect on me, listen, my paperwork is clean.
that's
So
fine. We're gonna do a DM with both of you. We're gonna set up the ground rules. We're gonna figure out a time limit on each, and The good thing about doing it on YouTube, the person who's hosting the space, they can mute everybody's mic so nobody can jump in, and we gonna get that done. So everybody in the room, make sure you follow the host and the speakers because we all have YouTube channels, and we're gonna make this as big as we.
And
So
for the record, that was the biggest. That was like one of the biggest stories I seen. I'm telling y'all, I was in other chat rooms. I was getting DMs, and everybody wanted to talk about Rich and Will. That's what everybody was hitting me up. People I don't even follow was hitting me up saying, "Damn!" So that was the talk of the town right there. That was a good one, and we got to get the whole thing. Though I want to run that all the way back.
So Nino, I'll definitely take that paperwork. You could DM it to me when you're free.
Right. He's
Cause
still
my
but enough.
he's still going sticking with his story that he has no African, not African, no
We
immigrant
find out on
ancestry.
Monday. We'll find out on Monday.
Hey, now
Well,
mind you,
I don't
this
want
is
to
round
spoil it. I
three.
don't want to spoil it. I want
This
to
is
let you.
round three though. This round three, brother. We got to remember this
But I
started
want to
before
talk
last
about
week.
round three is usually the best round.
Yeah,
This is
hey,
what
this started
decides it.
what like early last month. This was with the Will and Jada space that we did. This is when that started, and then they touched on it last week. So this round Trey right here, this is the triple
Yeah,
up.
this is gonna be good. But Mr. Engaging, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I want to talk about these drugs. These like I do smoke weed because of back injuries. I got hit in my back from a car accident.
That's
But
different.
that's
That's different.
besides
That's different.
the point. Yeah, that's besides the point. The point that I wanted to get at, I'm even sketchy about even smoking weed nowadays because they dumping fentanyl in this shit while I'm on the East Coast. And I just want to tell my brothers and sisters, if they are indulging in it, please do your research. Please make sure that you're getting it from a responsible person because these people are not playing fair and they are playing dirty. And they're getting our youth caught up in some bullshit that they don't need to be caught up in.
Only blow what you grow.
Speaking of
Facts.
that story, I have another story that's very similar to that. What people understand weed and marijuana as being a safe drug, and for the most part, it is. But a lot of people don't understand how often weed can be laced with things. There was somebody. One of my dad's friends, he was a very close friend of the family. He was almost my uncle. He used to babysit me, actually, when I was younger. I don't know. He was hanging around the wrong people. He used to smoke too. Not even that often, which is the crazy part. He used to smoke occasionally. He smoked some weed from some friend that was laced with something. Now he's in a retirement home for the rest of his life. This dude has major schizophrenia problems. He just like jumps up and starts talking to himself. He's young too. He's only in his like 40s, and for the rest of his life, he's going to be in a retirement home, and he's going to need assisted living because he can't live by himself because he smoked weed with some friends
That's
because it
a
was laced with something.
that's another reason why I'm smoking. Now that y'all spoke on it, that's another reason why I stopped. It was around the time that the government started becoming, I'm not even gonna say lenient. They started kind of endorsing weed smoke. You know what I'm saying? That made sense. If the government starting to approve of it and stuff, I'm like, okay, maybe this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to get into conspiracy theories or whatever. But even Dr. Sebi used to say like, hey, look. I smoke weed, but I smoke weed that got seeds in it. And, all these new strands and stuff, they doing a lot of things to it. And I concur. Because back when I was smoking weed, like we started off on mid, they had seeds in it and stuff. And then it graduated to quote unquote loud or whatever. Now they got the Zaza, exotic and shit. Man, I went back and hit that shit and I don't like how it made me feel. Whenever I smoked weed, I was pretty chill. You know what I'm saying? I would like to say I was a functional weed head. But I went back and smoked some of this new shit that these kids smoking, and I don't like what it's doing. Like I'm like, this is what y'all smoking every day. Like man, you hit that, and you feel like a damn zombie. Like I don't know, I'm just not with all that splicing that they doing with these new strands of marijuana and stuff. And now that the government is trying to give out weed to folks to go get the damn, the ouchie fouch, I don't want to say it. Well, shit, I guess the pandemic over. I guess we can say it now. The damn vaccine, they using weed as an incentive for us to do things that is ultimately, in my productive to what we're trying to achieve. Yeah, that's my sign that I need to stay away from that shit.
And always
Facts.
anything that white society does, remember, always look at it from a white supremacist point of view. Okay, weed was illegal for 40, 50, 60 years. Now we're going to make it legal. What is the agenda behind that? We know white supremacy has an agenda for everything. What is the agenda behind it? That's the question. So you think they're going to legalize weed and it's not going to be no twist to it? They're just gonna be like, hey, just take this weed. We're not gonna put anything in it. We're not gonna lock you up. There's a twist to it. It has to be a twist to it. We're talking about white supremacy here. Something that was illegal for so many years. And they was making money off of it because they was locking this up. And all of a sudden, they're gonna make it legal and it's gonna be perfectly fine for you. It's gonna be perfectly fine for your health. It's not gonna make you go crazy. You're not gonna be hallucinating or none of that. I lost best friends. In fact, right now, my neighborhood that I grew up in, there's about 2 blocks in my neighborhood that are known for dudes just going crazy after smoking certain types of weed. It's 2 blocks in my neighborhood. I know about 5 or 6 dudes that went crazy and never returned after smoking weed. So that's why I say stay away from weed, guys. Liquor, stay away from that also, because that's just as dangerous.
Yo, can I say something real
Go ahead,
fast?
go ahead.
All right, I was just while y'all were talking, I did a little bit of research, and I need all the family in here to start buying bottled water. I just,
Already on it. Already on
yeah,
it.
I have
Brother, I
two,
got
I have
that
a
too.
2 week supply. I have a 2 week supply right now for everybody in my house, and I'm planning on buying more. But I just checked the prices. When I bought those bottles, they were 89 cents per gallon. Now it's a buck 29. So my plans just went down a little bit, but I need the fam to start doing that. While the beans are still cheap, $1 a can, start buying that shit. Because now I'm seeing with this corn shortage now, everything's fixing to go up, including bottled water, because a lot of soft drinks we all know have corn syrup in it. And a lot of these companies like Pepsi and Coca-Cola own these bottled water companies, especially Poland Spring and Dasani and Dare Park and all that. So that's about to go up as well. So I envision by like maybe June, bottle like the what is it, the 16-ounce bottles, they're probably gonna be like damn near $2. So start stocking that shit up now while
Bottled
it's still
water
cold.
and water filters.
Yes,
Also
sir.
invest in
Oh, I
some
have
water
mine on
filters.
Amazon. I have mine on Amazon Subscribe and Save. So I have two more
Absolutely.
coming in a couple weeks. So we
But
good.
also get that 2 week supply of food. That
Yes, sir.
those. Yeah, I already got mine. Please, brothers and sisters, get that or what do you call it, MRE meals or whatever.
Yeah,
Get
ready
those,
made
stash
meals.
that
Yeah.
underneath your sink. Keep that there
hmm
because you're going to need it. It's going to be a
And
bumpy ride.
like he said, those prices started going up when COVID happened. I think I checked the other day. A bucket right now is like $250, and it's a little. They still have it in supply now, but when I was looking 2 months ago, they were on back order. So go find site and start buying that shit. I know y'all get paid on Friday. 1 bucket will save your life for that.
I was really quickly on before we move on to this on the topic of weed. I just wanted to point out whenever y'all get a chance, it's a brother who's a member of the Nation of Islam, and and I'm not trying to convert nobody or nothing because I'm not even a member of Nation of Islam, but my father's side they are. It's this brother named Wesley Muhammad, book called The Pot Plot, and he talks about the effect of all these new strains of marijuana, and and basically why the whole about approving it all of a sudden, especially and why they're trying to push it on black folks so heavy. So whenever y'all get a chance, just check that book out, even if it's just a synopsis of the book or some excerpts from it. I think y'all will find it very interesting, and it might make you think, twice about smoking weed, if you haven't already stopped. Again, that book is called The Pot Plot, Dr. Wesley Muhammad.
And if
Hey, I have a
wait, Mr. Ink, you got to raise your hand, brother, and interrupt. By the way, if you're somebody who smokes weed and you're having a hard time stopping, DM me and I will personally help you out with that because I used to smoke weed and I know stopping is not easy. That shit is just like any other drug. You literally have to detox from it, and it's an experience doing that. So if you're somebody who smokes weed and you need help stopping, I will personally help you. If you just DM me, I will get you going. All right. It's been about 10, 11 years I haven't smoked weed. Like, I went cold turkey, never did it again, and I'll never do it again. So if you're somebody who needs help doing that, DM.
And put the alcohol away too. If you put the blunt down, put the alcohol down with it, because that shit kill you just as quick, if not fast. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you put that down. And we as black men, we all need to be in shape, like Jason Black talks about. You're living in an anti-black war. You can't be out here, huffing and puffing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about huffing and puffing on the weed. I'm talking about huffing and puffing when things get real. How you going to protect your family? How you going to protect your children? It take a lot of gas. And I'm not talking about weed gas. It take a lot of gas to get your engine going. So when things get real and we're talking about buying water and canned goods and basically just surviving and having a survivalist mentality, you can't do that when you're not sober. So if you're going to be on it, you got to be on it. But you got to make sure that you don't pollute your system with anything, because the last situation you want to be confronted with is when your family needs you and you ain't got the energy because you've been drinking all day.
We all have a family member. We're black, so every single black family has a family member that was strung out on liquor. All of us do. We all got that family member that was always all he did was drink, 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 and he's just done for, or he died of drinking. We all got that family member. I'm same way I'm against weed. I'm against liquor because liquor's the same shit. Friday, you off for work. First thing you want to do is catch a drink. You want to get drunk. You want to remove yourself from your problems. You want to remove yourself from reality. Drinking, same shit. I do not drink. First of all, even the times I used to drink, I barely drunk. It was just never. It was just never my thing. Like it just never was my thing. I can't. I don't know how people just drink a whole damn bottle of Hennessy. I just can't do it. Like even when I used to do it, I'm like, this is not my thing. But I'm against drinking also because we all got that family member that was strung out on liquor too.
Man, got one right now, Auntie. Man, don't even get me started on it. It hurts my heart. The alcohol is killing.
Hey, I can double up on that, brother. I just lost my father 1 year ago. On the March 11th from alcohol. You know what I'm saying? And to see what alcohol did, this a man that could run from one side of town to the other when he was my age. You know what I'm saying? And to see how that took him down, it was a proud man. But it took his body from him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just about over a year, really, when I first started really getting this Black Alpha thing going. A lot of people didn't even know I was putting out content and holding it down for the community. But at the same time, I was dealing with that in the personal life. So I seen the way it could take a man who's a strong man, the most athletic person I've ever met, and it reduced him to somebody who really couldn't even move. So that gives me the onus to tell people all the time, man, do not play with that. And just because they sell you something doesn't mean it's better for you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, they would look at marijuana and be like, it's illegal, quote unquote, previous, and they was, that's the bad drug. But they would say that alcohol was good because you can go down there and do it. And then what they do, we got to know this as well. We all speaking about it now, is that they try to feed it to us. They understand Black folks, the oppression that we living in, all the mental health things, alcoholism, what I'm saying, being addicted to anything. That's really just mental health. It's a mental health crisis. And since we all living in a community, this goes back to the title, FBA against the world. And they try to get us this way as well from, alcohol and substance abuse. And substance abuse is really also related to your mental health condition. So a lot of Black folks try to escape this. I mean, you work all day long, busting your back, splitting your hands open, and then you got to go and you got to deal with the supremacists every day on the way home. When you wake up in the morning and you're getting dressed and you got to go to work and you're going to be confronted with the dominant society. And then you got your relationship issues where both parties are dealing with the effects of supremacy. Those type of things make somebody go to the bottle, make somebody go to the blunt, to the liquor. And some people even have it worse. Some people go to the pills because nowadays, the pills is what's really knocking off a lot of these young folks. I remember the days when they used to just roll up and smoke one. Now I got people that I know personally that they don't even touch liquor or smoke. They just pilled up all day long. They pop pills and listen to drill music. So that type of mentality is what gets us. And everybody knows. Anybody seen one of the Tupac stories? I remember Afeni Shakur was telling that. They try to put it in that bullshit movie, but it's a real quote. She said they're going to give you the tools you need, to bring you down. So they feed us this stuff. They feed us the drugs. They feed us the alcohol. They feed us all these negative things that they know if they give it to us, it's gonna happen. Speaking of Tupac, what Pac said, he said, first ship them dope, watch them deal to brothers, give them guns, step back, watch them kill each other. So as Brother Rich was saying, we gotta always be careful of what they feed us, and that goes back to the title of FBA against Word. And the more we get on code, and the more we stay on our line, and the more we kick this B1, we start putting pressure on them. They see us actually making achievements, the more they're gonna throw at us. So everybody out there, keep your head right and watch anything that the dominant society sponsors, because 9 times out of 10, if they're coming to give you something, they got an agenda.
I've heard people say things like, well, white people, they do drugs too. In fact, they do more drugs than us. But yeah, they're in a position where they can afford to do that. We not. We don't have that luxury falling off our square. They are in a position where they can kick back and get high, get drunk, be methed out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We got to be on our square at all times because we playing catch. Like even with myself, like I said, I stopped smoking weed back in 2020 when my sister passed away, and and then I was smoking like Black and Miles, and now I'm in the process of weaning myself off of that. So I got a little vape now, which I'm sure ain't. But I will say I do feel a lot stopping Black and Miles because even me running because I'm a runner. I can feel it in my chest. You know what I'm saying? I can see that my lips was getting dark. I can see that my teeth was not as white as they once were. That's why I kind of transitioned over to the little vape or whatever. And even then, even now, being on the vape, I don't feel, I feel a lot better smoking weed or the Black and Miles. But even then, I don't want to become dependent on nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the process of weaning myself off of that. But yeah, I just want to say that. I think Mr. Engage was trying to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the like I noticed that with this whole opioid crap, because I live in a predominantly white area. Even though the area I live in is black, more predominantly black and brown, like those are the areas. If you know how Connecticut's set up, they're trying to deseg Connecticut. We're only confined to like I think 17 counties in the whole entire state of Connecticut. There goes integration, but that's another conversation for a different day. But what I was more or less getting at is saying that I see some of the effects that goes on with other communities. And I noticed that with the height of this opioid stuff, they've been pushing this weed narrative for a very, very long time. And I think it's just to only help out white folk. It has nothing to really deal with us at all. And that was just one thing I just wanted to just drop to the table to the brothers and sisters in the room.
Hey, no, hey, that's a good point, brother. A lot of people don't understand the channels. The more they put out these, opioid stories and all that, they get care, which ends up increasing their health care. You know what I'm saying? Well, black folks, you can be strung out on anything, and then you're going to go in there, and they're just going to send you back home. I know people that's OD'd and they get no type of care. So the more the dominant society fusses about, opioid, and this, that, and the other thing, they're going to get an onus and an emphasis to help them and lift them up, and more dollars are going to be spent to, quote unquote, fix the problem, which basically means more money being funneled into their community, where we get nothing. All you do is you get high, you OD, and not a dollar goes back to the healthcare for the people. Not a dollar goes back to the community. So really, you get zero out of it, other than a few hours of being high, being inebriated. What does the average black person get from that? You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about the people who are addicted. If you smoke and you just burn, and that's what's up. But if you are one of these people that you got to have one and your mood changes, we all know somebody who smokes or drinks and their mood changes when they don't have it. That's what it is. You got to wean yourself off of this stuff. So there's an actual financial aspect to it as well, in terms of like sections and communities, how they get financed and how they get money just to help the community out to fix these problems where we don't get none. We can't even get proper health care. When our women have birth, our women are dying at high rates. So we're going to definitely have to, get that in order. But it takes brothers like us. If you remember earlier in the space, I talked about we play the role of the elders now. The reason why a lot of this has gotten out of control is because there weren't those elders that were there to tell you. I mean, the crack epidemic happened in the 1980s, and those civil rights Negroes, instead of running around telling us to vote Democrat, they should have been informing people about the crack epidemic. But instead, every time the elder sells you out, the younger people got to play that role. And we've been playing the role of the elder. So this is why everybody right here, we're giving these examples. And none of us is old. None of us is old. And we saying shit these old motherfuckers should have said a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So this just gives more of a reason why, us B1s, we're stepping to the plate. And if it is FBA against the world, then, we got to stand together and have these conversations. And even if they're rough conversations and people get their feelings hurt and motherfuckers don't want to hear it, they still got to get this work. They still got to get this work. Because if not, we're going to have a generation of a bunch of strung out folks, and you can't be strung out and fight supremacy because it's hard enough being sober and fighting.
Well,
And
also remember that they, sorry, really quickly. I was gonna say, just remember that they take both sides of every argument. Just like how they pushing the drugs on us on one hand, on the other hand, they're also the ones trying to offer us a quote unquote solution. But their solution for us is never what they offer their own people when they got a, drug habit. When their people got a drug habit, they offering them free rehab, all medical care, and everything else, like Black Alpha was saying. But with us, their solution is to throw some cuffs on us and throw us in jail. And that's what some of the people was even saying when it came down to the crack epidemic in the '90s. Well, the black leadership they was saying they needed help or whatever, so you can't blame Joe Biden for his crime bill. That's what y'all asked for. You asked for help. You know what I'm saying? So remember, they take both sides of every argument, and that's where they fucked up at by allowing white people to decide what the solution was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure if you would have got asked people on the ground level who was actually in these neighborhoods that was affected by these drugs, they wouldn't have said, "Hey, we just need to throw them all in jail." We would say, "No, they need to get some help. Throwing them in jail ain't going to help. That's not going to help them, nor is it going to help the community." So, like I said, just keep that in mind. That they take both sides of every argument.
I want to make 2 points, and I'm gonna let somebody else speak. The first point I want to make is the older you get, the harder life gets. The harder life gets, the more you start to lean on licking weed. This is why you got older folks, 40, 50 years old. They drinking their life away and smoking their life away. It's because life starts to get harder if you're not on your tippy toe. It starts to get harder. And the harder it gets, the more you want to lean on things to feel better. So This is why I'm so much against weed and liquor because you start to get 27 and 28 and 29 and 30, and now you got more bills, and now you got more responsibilities. You got a kid on the way. You got cousins you need to feed. Now it's like, damn, bro, I need some me time. Let me go to the bar. Let me go get some weed. You start leaning on things to feel better the older you get. That's the first point I want to make. The second point I want to make, I want to piggyback off what our brother Black Alpha said. He's right. We were introduced to weed and liquor from our elders. I don't know about you guys. I'm pretty sure you guys can attest though. I was introduced to liquor and weed from someone that was older than me, not younger. Because remember, we don't have access to that. You got to be 18 to buy weed and liquor. So our elders introduced us to that. With me, with us, with what I do with my little cousins, I tell them, hey, you, because I some of my cousins, I don't have full control of them, so I only get to see them when I get to see them. But in their mother's house, they get to do whatever they want. But when I do see them, you know what I tell them? I tell them, weed, yeah, that's for losers. Yeah, that's losers do that. Don't do that. And I point to them. I say, see all these losers in our family? They smoke weed. So if you want to smoke weed, you're gonna end up looking like them. So I tell them, weed, liquor, that's for losers. Stay away from that. But our elders, they were the total opposite. They the one that fed us that bullshit. I'm gonna finish my point, but during Christmas they would tell us, hey, taste this or taste that or mix a little bit of this. That's what they would do to us. But I'm gonna let somebody else speak. Go ahead.
All right. Stay true to self. Go ahead.
Hey, y'all. I just wanted to stick up here and say I'm a licensed psychotherapist, so I do a lot of this stuff. Just be careful because coming off of alcohol and coming off of heroin, you need medical supervision if you're drinking and using to the extent that it would cause you to be. You can't wean off of that. The other stuff you can. So I just wanted to say that. And I also wanted to say it's a couple of movies on Netflix that you might can catch. One is called Take Your Pill, and it's a really good documentary on all of that bullshit. And then it's one called 13th. It has a lot of good information for FBA. That's all I want to say.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Mr. Engaging.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to Brother Rich, not in a disrespect way, just to build upon what he was saying. The reason why some of our elders give us some of those drugs, they have this notion saying that it's better that you get it from us that's safe versus anybody else. I don't agree with that ideology, but I can understand being close to proximity to some of those type of environments, if you get what I mean.
No, they act. You're right. That's exactly what they used to say. Oh yeah, do it inside the house. I don't want you to do it outside the house. But I don't attest to that bullshit. You ain't doing it in here, and you ain't doing it out here. Period. All that. Oh, do it in here, because that's exactly the type of mentality my elders had. They like my I'm not gonna spill my personal business out there, but I had family members who used to steal from my elders, and they would say, "Oh, I'd rather him do it to us than to do it outside to somebody else, and he get his ass whooped or he go to jail." No, 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 no. This is a new generation. You're not doing it inside this house, and you're not doing it outside. Period. So I'm not about to give you liquor so I can help you avoid doing it outside. What type of BS is that? That's not logical. But I understand to a certain point. But I will never attest to that. I'm not about to give you liquor so you can avoid doing it outside. Because as soon as I give you a piece of this liquor, a little cup of this liquor, a little shot, that's when you be like, "Oh, it tastes good," and then it becomes a every holiday thing. Then it goes from every holiday to every Friday. Then it's to every Friday to every Saturday and Friday. Now you're doing it every weekend. And then once you see a black person start drinking on the weekdays, he's done.
I work. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, once you see a black person start drinking on the weekdays, his life is over. Just call it quits. Wash your hands. He's done. It's over. Because weekdays, that's like, damn, bro. Like, you supposed to go to work, come home, cook dinner for the kids, and go to sleep. Now you drinking liquor, so now you come home, cook dinner. Now you stop cooking dinner because your ass drunk before you even get to cook the dinner. So once you see a black person start drinking liquor during the weekday, it's over. His life is over.
I was gonna say, I worked in social work up until fairly recent. I've been doing that for some years now, and I was working in mental health before that. And one thing that I've noticed, man, and I'm noticing that a lot of parents are smoking weed and drinking with their kid. Like that's like the norm now. I'm talking about like high school kids be telling me like, yeah, my dad know I smoke, or my mom know I smoke. I smoke with my mom. I smoke with my dad, and it's just amazing to me how normalized. I don't have no kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can't, I don't really know in this generation all the time, but for what I'm seeing, a lot of these parents, I just turned 30 this year, so I'm still fairly young myself. But a lot of these parents I'm seeing like in their late 30s or up to mid 40s and stuff, they are out here partying with kids. Matter of fact, this one girl I know, she like 25. She just went to the had a birthday party this weekend. She was at the club with her mama. Her and her mama twerking on the damn couch. They both blowing hookah down together. I say that because I was just looking at her Instagram story. I'm just like, man, like at what point are parents gonna be parents again and stop trying to be these kids' friends? You know, and I think people are scared to do that, or not even scared. You know, I think older generations probably had
So
super
what?
duper strict parents, and they probably made a vow to themselves, "I'm not gonna do my kids like
They
that." And it's like, well, I'm
they
sorry. Go
just
ahead,
like
man.
10 years
That's
older. You know, they done had babies when they was 14. They 28, so they so close in age that they partying together. That's crazy.
absolutely. And like I said, like I said, I just turned month, so I'm at this weird age where I'm pulling mamas and daughters at the same time. Like I'm at that weird stage in my life where I may talk to a girl who about mid 20s, and then her mama in her late 30s, and they both trying to holler. So I don't know. I'm just noticing things. I'm just speaking out loud.
And also in this
And there's a
generation, a
certain
lot of
age.
people don't want to grow up. Hold on one second, brother. This generation, a lot of people don't want to grow up. This is the Toys R Us kids. They don't want to grow up. Age is one thing that's you see this a lot in other communities where they gracefully age. They accept that thing. We got this cool factor in our community where somehow young has became cool. When a lot of us were younger, being cool is who you were, what you did, what you accomplished. The easiest thing someone can do is say, I'm cool because I'm young. So you got a lot of people who are still stuck as being teenagers, but they in their damn 30s. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that. Look at hip hop music. And hip hop, you are an ancient rapper if you in your 30s. That's what it's considered. You got a lot of these people, where their asses is out here trying to be teenagers forever. They don't want to let it go. And I know exactly what you're saying, because I done seen the same thing. Folks out here twerking in the club with their mamas. I done seen daddies and their sons going to the club. You don't know who the young one, who the old one. Because they both act the same way. So we got this maturity issue in the community. A lot of that was facilitated through hip hop music. But and I love hip hop more than the next person. But at the end of the day, that mentality of young is the greatest thing, and growing up is a bad thing. You can't do that. When you go look at the other communities, the damn Rolling Stones is 92 years old, and then they go and they sell out arenas. If a rapper's 92 years old, he's probably pushing a damn giving out stickers at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? They don't even want to deal with them no more. So we got to get to the point where we age gracefully and not allow young folks to do this. I got a cousin, no lie, put it on everything. I got a cousin who's he's about 29, 30 years old, and he got into a little debate with my brother who's about 40. And my cousin said, y'all adults talk too much. Now, mind you, this man is 28 years old, and he referred to my brother as an adult. His ass is an adult, and he's got 2 kids. So this is a 28-year-old man with 2 kids who refer to adults in third person. This is the mentality of a lot of these folks out here. You know what I'm saying? And the mothers and the fathers, they follow suit on the same way. But hey, I want to bring in what's your name, brother? Rolando. Go ahead, brother.
Oh no, man, you can go ahead. I'm gonna need a few minutes.
Let me just say this, man. What Nino and Black Alpha said is so true, man. Like, come on, bro. Why do we have adults dressing just like the damn children? Who am I looking up to? The child or the adult? We got
The
adults.
Reverend.
We got adults dressing just like children, acting just like children in the black community. You got 15-year-old girls, 16-year-old girls with fucking weave in their head, 14-year-old with weave in their head. You're not even an adult yet. Like, how the hell you only been on this earth for 14 years? And you got nails in your hand. So fake eyelashes at 14, 15 years old. Like it's just ridiculous. Like it's crazy. Like a perfect example of this, Whack 100. I'm not gonna change the subject, but Whack 100, dude, you're in your 40s, bro.
Whack 100 the clown.
You brought up
Hey,
the
Rich.
op. You brought up that
No,
op.
no, no.
Hey,
I'm just
no,
using
hey, Rich, I'm saluting you, brother. Whack 100 is a 50-year-old man who's on Clubhouse talking about other people's business all the time. That is a sucker.
arguing with kids half his age, people who could be his children. That's who he's arguing with. So this is the problem we have, because when the children don't have adults to look up to, they become clowns. That's one of the biggest problems we have. We don't have good examples of good, and this is what bothers me so much, because I want the older folks to, like Black Alpha said, I want them to bow out gracefully on top. Cause it's nothing like being 40, 45 years old and you done everything you needed to do in life and you just relaxing. You got old money. You just relaxing. You got a beach house. You got a vacation house. Why? Because of the decisions you made when you was 20, 21, 22, 23 years old. That is beautiful. And now you get to bow out gracefully, and now you get to turn around and help out the young folks. How you gonna help out the young folks when you 40, 50 years old and you ain't even got your life together yet? You can't help out nobody because you still don't got your life together.
Hey, I'm gonna
Roland,
say,
you wanted to speak?
yeah, I'm gonna say something, man. You know, when we were in high school, man, and I'm gonna be funny for a little bit. I'm pretty sure everybody went to school with some bitch ass niggas, right?
Yep.
Well, guess what? Them bitch ass niggas had bitch ass kids.
Apple don't fall too far from the tree. Do it.
Well, it's a lot of crack babies running around, so it is what it is.
Oh, hey, the crack babies though, man. That's old. Crack is shit, 40 years old, brother. The crack babies is damn near 60.
Hey, yo, and then another thing, you know what amazes me is that back in the day, you know, all the so-called gangster rappers. Have you noticed? Have y'all ever paid attention that none of their kids get in trouble? Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, none of their kids get in trouble. Master P, none of their kids get in trouble, bro. It's always the rich kids, like you know, on the other side, like the Paris Hiltons, and they the one to kick up all the dust. But all the so-called gangster rappers who have kids, they kids are never in the news. Never. I don't even know what that's about.
That's a great observation. Like,
I
and
know.
part of my Willow and Jaden, and you know all the rich kids, you know the rich square, who had rich parents, square parents, or whatever. Those are the ones that be turning up. But really quickly, I see Afro has something he wants to say. I'm gonna just make one point really quick. And this is to allude back to what Black Alpha said about how the effect of hip hop. It seems like these rappers, as they get older, they're still the same person they was 20 years ago or however many years ago when they first came out. How many rappers do you know that whose image matured along with their age? You get what I'm saying? Like somebody who may have started off doing gangster rap, but as they got older, start portraying themselves to be more of a boss. You get what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z started to do that, but then he started to progress a little bit as well. I think once he
Jermaine
started,
Dupri, you think?
well, Jermaine Dupri was always behind her, and
Cause like,
I wouldn't say Jermaine, but the one person who I was thinking was like Two Chainz. Two Chainz ain't no spring chicken. Two
He
Chainz,
tight. He tight.
Two Chainz. If he not 50 already, he in his 50. He about to be in his 50s. Two
but
Chainz
it,
is still doing the same thing today that he was doing back when he was Titty Boy, going on 20 years ago. You know what I'm
but
saying?
but
Go
you know
ahead.
what? If you look at people like Ice Cube, none of his kids have ever been in trouble, bro. Master P, Lil Romeo have never been in trouble. Snoop Dogg kids never been in trouble. It's just funny to me. I don't know what they doing. I don't know if they set their kids down and say, "Listen, I went through this, so y'all don't have to."
Well, he created Black Family.
Okay, so that's why. Okay, now you may be on to something because the same thing with your boy down in Houston. What's his name? Jay Prince. None of his kids are in trouble, man. So
Hey, but
that's
here's the
probably what
kicker
it
though.
is.
They did create black families, but they promoted a lot of content that ruined black families as well. You know what I'm saying? So people like
Agreed.
I might slide Cube in them a little bit because Cube, he has some social consciousness in his music. People listen to NWA and they just listen to the gangster shit, but Cube has some real political message in there. So I might slide him one. But take y'all seen that meme with Young Jeezy and it says his boy was graduating and it said his kid went to college and he told your kid to sell dope. All the snowman and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? He didn't put his kid didn't grow up to be no snowman. His kid grew up to be a college man. So
Well,
that type of mentality.
I do have a question for the family. I put something in the jumbotron now with the Mason, Tennessee thing. They said CBS picked it up, which is a good thing. But I went through the comment section and it's a lot of misdirection, almost blaming the black folks for this. And this was why I was saying when we first started, y'all got to watch out for that messaging.
absolutely the narrative.
Because I'm watching these white people and these trolls talking about it's the black people's fault. And then luckily there's people in there that's correcting them saying, no, the black people took it over and are changing the town for the better. Y'all need to go investigate them white boys. But we know they're not going to do that. So that's why I was saying make sure the messaging stays on point because
I live
now
in
that
Tennessee.
they're bringing this town into the forefront, this is going to go a long way into what you call a bullet point for the reparations talk. Because
Yep.
if they win this, that could be a good case study when you guys keep going with your reparations talk.
They will never say it's not the black people's fault in Tennessee. Tennessee is the most racist state to ever live in. But who they gonna blame it on? But the thing that we coming back with, why you didn't do it 10 years ago? Why weren't y'all that interested 10 years ago? So the one of his attorney, no, one of the councilmen from Memphis who works with them, he said that even though they have their hands on the purse, it's too many black caucus, the black, they gonna be all right, and we don't care what they say. I don't care who did it. Y'all ain't taking that town.
I'm looking at the comments right now, and I am seeing a lot of pushback. But then again, it could just be the algorithm. What they know I want to see near the top. And I'm sure if I go towards the bottom, it'll be more what Kid Gravity was saying. But from what I'm
Yeah, and I
seeing,
don't
it
like
is a
how
lot of.
Gail King was the face of that story.
Yeah, we all know about.
Who was
Yeah,
face?
Gail King. She got to be the man being reported.
And here's the thing about the Mason, Tennessee situation that goes back to community. Because okay, let's say we we get what we want out of Mason, Tennessee. We get the community back. We get the I think it's the Ford company come to it, and black folks get all these jobs. White supremacy loves retaliation. They love coming back for revenge. So this is why community is important. This is why we need security. We need homes. We need military bases. We need all that when we create our communities to protect it.
Well,
Because
this is on Memphis too, because Memphis is they're in the eye of the storm with this.
But y'all know
exactly,
y'all too late. The one of the county's over mayors has already bought a bunch of hundreds of square foot of land. It's just we don't look for it. We don't because we not like that. We want everybody to be happy. We just want to live, buy our house, raise our kids, love on our family, work. They done already established. They already done.
yeah.
What
We're thinking about living and enjoying life. They got white supremacy on their mind. They're thinking about war. They're thinking about gentrification. They're thinking about white supremacy. They're thinking about
Greedy ass.
exactly. They thinking about building prison systems. That's what they're doing. While we're chilling, we're relaxing. We got all the time in the world. We're not the minority on this planet. They're thinking about war.
That
Which
crime don't
is
come
is
and
why
go.
it's
is
important for us to stay up on these stories. A few weeks ago, everybody was talking about Mason, Tennessee. And then I understand the momentum dies down. Of course, it will naturally. But then it went to complete silence where nobody was talking about Mason, Tennessee anymore. And when we allow that to happen, now, unfortunately, that didn't all the way happen from what I can see in this situation. But when we start something, and then when we don't stay on top of it and allow it to die down, that allows the momentum that we've built to be taken over by another group of people. And the other group of people that take over the momentum don't have the same intentions that we had. Now, I recently, about a week ago, I asked what was going on with Mason, Tennessee, and thankfully, the mayor and the township actually did file a lawsuit against Jason Mumpower. So I'm waiting on updates about that. But that's the importance of staying on code and, like Professor Black Truth says, staying consistent because our people are consistently inconsistent. We can make a lot of noise for a few days, and then next thing you know, we're on to something totally different, and we never pick back up on it. And that gives opportunists like Gail King to get on top of it. And then if Mason, Tennessee gets saved, it's all like, well, look at what Gail King and I don't even know what news network she works for. Look at what they did, you
She's
know. So we
CBS.
can't allow them to steal our momentum. We got to stay
Coons
consistent.
babbling Sunday.
We got to stick with it.
is Judge Joe Brown speaking on this? Because I know he's running for mayor out there in Tennessee.
Oh,
Um,
he
Who?
always he always talks about it.
I mean, I know I was in the room when he came in and offered some tangible solutions about what needs to be done. But my question was, he offering? I guess my question is because I haven't seen anything because I know they'd be shadow blocking him. Has he spoken on things that he would do to rectify that situation if he was to be elected or to prevent it from happening in other places? I'll put it out there.
Uh,
I'm not
the
critiquing him in
last
a
few
negative way.
tweets I saw, it was more about CRT and all that. So, but I haven't been on his page and just gone through all his tweets. But I know last one I saw, he was talking about CRT and the Dwayne Wade situation.
Also, I feel like we can get way more people in this space. I'm going to share this space again so more people can pop up because spaces that are hosts with these um, people tend to be the most productive spaces that are going on throughout the night. And that's the spaces that people need to be in. So I'm going to share this space again, and I encourage all of my brothers and sisters who are speakers and listeners to do so as well, because these are the conversations and these are the spaces people need to be a part of.
To be honest, I think we're shadow banned because ain't no way these other spaces got hundreds of people coming in every night, and with us, we got a whole bunch of heavy hitters in here, and
Oh, they got
we only got about 20 people in here. We're talking real stuff. The other folks, they're arguing all the time in those other spaces, but we're talking real stuff, and we don't got a lot of people.
I can't tweet. I can't share shit.
Well, low vibrations tend to bring the masses. I mean, I know we all feel like more people need to be in here and everything else, but that's just it. That's just human nature, unfortunately. When it comes down to low vibrational information or low vibrational topics, you know what I'm saying? That's what's going to draw the masses, unfortunately. Let us be in here talking about titties, ass, or let us be in here talking about some type of beef of calling somebody out. Everybody would be up in, and that ain't But when we talk about something productive, that's not what folks want to hear. So I'm at a point now where I stopped getting offended. You know what I'm saying? Because I know even on Twitter, I've been on Twitter over 10 years. And I'm sorry, sister. I know you got your hand raised. I'm going to wrap it up real quick. But I know I've been about over 10 years. And I know when I first started, I'd be on rap music, sex, talking about drugs and everything else. Man, I was nearing 10,000 followers. But once I started talking about, conscious stuff, oh, I can't even break over 500. So and I used to get offended about that, but it just is what it is. And even in this so-called conscious community, even the people that call themselves B1, man, a lot of these folks, man, they just want to go with the crowd. And unfortunately, folks gonna go to the bullshit.
Hey, matter of fact, y'all, I just got some DMs. I ain't checked them until now. I got DMs from multiple people, saying that the space was glitching. They said people going in and out. You know what I'm saying? That seems to be a theme when you start talking real stuff. It seems to be a theme. It seemed to be a thing.
I'm sorry, since I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you had your hand. I'm done.
No, it's another issue that's popped off in Louisiana. It's this town in Louisiana that has it's a lot of black people in it, the older black people in it, and they had this plant, and all of them are coming down with camp. And it was so he was giving an interview today, and he was like nobody was coming down there. He said, where's the NAAC? Where's the urban league? And those are the places that we need to go. They old, they don't need to be going through that, but they suing the city, and the governor saying nothing about it, ignoring them. The person who owns the plant is pretty much talking shit to them. I'm like, what? I mean, if y'all done got some federal funding and y'all doing all this, they need to take that federal funding out. And I did email the Department of Justice. Go down there and see what's going on.
And this actually brings me back to the point I wanted to make. In white society, that hillbilly that lives in that town with 2,000 people, he's able to practice white supremacy, even though he has somebody's mic is on. I don't know who it is, but that hillbilly in that town is able to practice white supremacy. He doesn't have any money, but he's still able to practice white supremacy. In black society, you can be B1 and not have much and practice practice black empowerment. That's good. But you know what's great? When you're B1 and you got resources and you got finances, now that's black empowerment.
And that was he said so sad because
wait. Mute your mic. I'm gonna let you speak one time. You can practice white supremacy if you're a hillbilly and you don't have a lot of money, but they're not the most powerful white people. The most powerful white people are the white people who have a lot of money, who live in these luxury high rises, who live in these affluent neighborhoods. Those are the ones that really move the needle. The average hillbilly, they don't move the needle. They just practice it from where they are. In the B1 society, that's why it's important for us to get our resources together individually, get our money together so we can practice black empowerment with resources, with money. Because right now, we're just that hillbilly that's practicing white supremacy. We're not practicing white supremacy. We're practicing black empowerment, but we have as much power as that hillbilly, as that dirty little white boy that doesn't have no money. That's how much power we got. But when we get the money, we get the resources. Now we're really practicing black empowerment. And that's why Jason Black always says we got to be dangerous. And the most how you become dangerous is when you have resources, when you have money to remove those things, those ideas you have in your brain, bringing them to light. That's when you're really dangerous.
Hey, Gravity, what did you get put on lockdown?
I tried to share the space out and it said that it failed the sentence and it kept it as a draft. I just tried to do it again and did the same thing. I even left the app and then tried to come back and still said the same.
That means you're on a 12-hour suspension more than likely. Because when I'm on 12-hour suspension, I can still join spaces. I just can't tweet. So
I ain't
it's
even
probably,
say nothing.
man, you preaching to the choir,
That's
dog.
fine. I'm more dealing with my YouTube channel now. I got white supremacists pissed off at some videos, so I'm just answering comments right now.
But
So
yeah, back to Rich's point, when Rich said about our finances, that's very true. And that's one of the things that kind of separates people from like, Dr. Umar from like Jason Blacks of the world or the Tariq Nasheeds of the world. Dr. Umar be talking a good game, and don't get it twisted. I know I have criticisms of Dr. Umar, but I truly do believe that he cares about his people, and I feel like his intentions are good, but he doesn't have the resources. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, yeah, you talk about the word of God, dog. Now get you a church, and folks might be able to be more receptive to what you're talking about. Get you a building, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the school, but I'm just alluding to his lack of resources is why his reach isn't as far as it probably should. Just kind of trying to supplement Rich's research.
So everybody, I'm gonna let Afro speak in a minute, but everybody in here, if you have a 9 to 5, if you go to work every day, I encourage you, when you leave work, make sure you work on that $1 million idea that you have. Don't put it aside and say I'm too tired. No, everybody in here should have $1 million plan, $1 million idea of how they're gonna get rich, how they're gonna get wealthy, so they can take care of themselves, take care of their family, and take care of the black community. Every last one of you should have $1 million idea that you're working on every single day. Even Tariq Nasheed said this. He said, at a real hustler, somebody who's really about their business, they're working on $1 million idea at every given point in their life. Afro, go ahead, brother.
To piggyback, first off, that was really great what you just said, and to piggyback off of that, that's one of the reasons why Jason Black and Tariq are so influential. Is not just because what they say is the truth, is because people are inspired to be in the position that they're in. One of the reasons why we don't get listened to, or too many of us don't get listened to in the community, is because, as Jason would say, we're not power brokers. We can't make those powerful moves. People are not inspired to be in the positions that we're in. Like how Rich was talking about how he would tell his cousins, his younger cousins, about the smoking and the drinking. He uses the fact that he is in a better position. He is in a better state in his life. And I don't even know his like personal situation, but he's in a better state in his life in comparison to the people who are smoking every day and who are drinking every day. And all he has to do is say, look at what I'm doing and look at the position I'm in, and then look at what they're doing and look at the position that they're in. And you can see that I'm in a better position because I don't make those mistakes, or I do this. Versus if two people are in the same position, it's kind of difficult to listen to somebody who's struggling. If somebody's barely making ends meet, but they're telling you this is what we need to do, it becomes difficult. And I'm not saying that struggling people are wrong, but it becomes difficult to be inspired by those people. It's easier to be inspired by somebody who you want to mimic and you want to be like. And that's one of the reasons why Jason and Tariq are so influential, is because, relatively they have it made. They don't really have to do anything. They don't have to do what they're doing, but they're doing what they're doing, and people want to be in the position that they're in or similar to that. So when Jason talks about power, wealth, and influence, you can tell that Jason lives that life too. He's not just saying this is what you got to do. You can actually tell that Jason knows what he's talking about. So I just wanted to piggyback off of what you all were saying with that.
That's a good point, brother. We don't have enough folks that show improve in the community. We don't have enough people to show improve, because usually when somebody attains it in our community, they turn cold on us, and they're not a shining reflection of practicing black empowerment. You're right. And this is why we end up getting kind of caught with these rappers and everybody, because anytime we have somebody who's doing it on a actual level like Jason Black and Tariq, very few times that we keep them in the community and then they actually, shine as a reflective means to everyone else. So instead, people get that type of achievement, and then they start, pivoting into the dominant society, and they get more of a coon example opposed to a black empowerment example. Kid Gravity, did I lose you back, brother? Kid, Amy says he's here, but I ain't got him on. It's all good. I lost you for a minute, brother. I don't know what
They
happened.
kicked me out.
It was me last week. It was you this week, brother. It's all great.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have enough, people that stick around in the community. To Afro's point, that shine bright as an example of how to follow. So we end up following people that we have no business following. Like we'll start following rappers, or we'll start following entertainers, or athletes, opposed to following people like Jason and Tariq, who have a message of Black empowerment and then actually live it to what we can point and see. The term tangible is a good point, because we talk about tangible politics, but we also need tangible, examples as well. We need tangible creators. We need tangible families. We need tangible existence, and just show everybody that we could do it all. But you got to stick around and you got to actually show people. Go ahead, brother.
Exactly, and our women deserve that too. Not all of them, but our women deserve to see Black excellence. A Black man who took nothing and made something out of it, and just does everything effortlessly. They deserve to see that. Black children deserve to see that. They deserve that. And what you said, Black Alpha, is very true. That's what they do. They make the money and they just go cold turkey on us because they don't see no value in the Black community. But in order for you to see value in the Black community, you got to look at dirt, because that's what the Black community is. It's dirt. But you got to envision gold. You have to go in and do the work. You can't just expect the Black community just to be made. It's just made up of a beautiful neighborhood. No, you got to see the dirt and picture gold by the time you're done with it. And for you to be that type of person, you have to be selfless. You can't be selfish. You can't be someone who's like, I don't feel like putting in that work of turning the Black community from nothing to something. Difficult situations. Go ahead, sister.
I'm gonna change my name back. I just got that on there because I'm mad at Tulsa police talking about their job is different. Shut up, everybody's job different. But I own a private practice and I have 2 locations, and I said I was gonna put as soon as Mason gets started, I'm putting the location in Mason, Tennessee too. So Eddie hollered at me. Who said that there was a counselor or something? The only reason why I stay away from bringing people on is because the Black people want to take over, steal stuff from burn you. I'm like, you can make so much more. I have my name in this community. I know how to hustle. I know how to get this shit. But you want to take literally. So we here.
Man, I want Black people in a position where, like, making money, the amount of money we're making, like, that's one thing about white people. Like, they, not all of them, but those wealthy white people, like, I don't even know what to call it, but like, it's like everything they touch turn into gold.
Because it's deeply rooted. I'm going to show you this article. Let me find it. It said we'll never be able to catch up with them because it's so deeply rooted in the ground. The money that they made, we will never be able. And I looked at that article, I was like, God, that's so true. How much choice
Yeah,
I gotta go, y'all?
like certain of them, like, it's just like, that's one thing about Jay-Z. Like, he has done that. He has put himself in a position where everything he touches just turn into gold, and it takes a lot of work to get there, but it's possible, where everything you touch it just turns into whatever you want it to turn into, because of consistency of and the years of putting in a lot of work. And that's where I want Black people to get. A lot of us don't believe we can get to that position where we have so much money, so much finances, so much influence, so much networking, so much powerful people in our phone that we can call. Anything we want to make happen, we could just make a phone call and make it happen. If Memphis, Tennessee, and Mason, Tennessee, if they need something, all this talking that we have to do, we got to do 4 or 5 hours of talking just to raise $10,000. Fuck that. I got 500,000 on it. Boom. Oh, something is going on in Atlanta. I got 100 million on it. Boom. I could call Nino and Nino put 2 million on it, and Black Alpha put 3 million on it. Afro Elite put 5 million on it. In the quick of a phone call, we make things happen. 1, 2, 3.
And that's the thing, brother. If you look right now, we're pretty much, subsidizing ourselves. Back to the titles, FBA, we all we got. You look at Mason, Tennessee situation. Mason, Tennessee, the black folks out there are starting GoFundMe pages. We're financing our own lives. Black folks, FBA. You know what I'm saying? This is where we are. This is our state of affairs in this country. Where take Brother Marcel, we're funding his campaign. We're funding Mason, Tennessee, because the dominant society is too busy spreading money around to every other group except for us. So it goes back to the notion that all we really truly have in this country are each other. That's it. We've always had each other, and that's all we ever going to truly get. So what we have to do is we got to continue to do that, like you're saying, brother, and practice and just get better and just get better. I think a lot of us got the mentality and we got the wherewithal. We just got to get better at it and continue to do that to where we get our money and we could all work together. I mean, put it this way, there wouldn't be a Mason, Tennessee if it was another group from another community. But just say there was for the sake of the conversation. That group wouldn't have to rely on no goddamn GoFundMe page from each other to raise funds. The government would come in and handle it. Look how much money Joe Biden's giving to other people. He's giving out money to groups that aren't even American. There would be none of that. Go ahead, man.
It was an accident. I'm trying to find that article, but you're right. You so right. Oh, it's
I
so
was
much
gonna
money in these states, y'all. If you all just look how many millions of free dollars that these states have been given, earmarked probably for some of you, but the governor, when they send it to the states, they get to allocate it where they want to. I'm telling them I want every penny allocated for what it's supposed. I want to know where every penny went. I've been on the email.
I feel like we need to get better at circulating our money within the community. I know, all of us are aware of Dr. Clyde and his works, but I still have yet to see it really done in real life. I will. I take that back. I take that back. One person I'll give credit, and I'm not even a fan of this person, but I've seen them do it. Is Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, because y'all know I'm down here in Atlanta with his studio. If you ever take the time to visit his studio, the majority of the people that are working on that studio are black. You know what I'm saying? He took his money, he created a job off black, and I feel like we need to do more. A lot of these these well-to-do black people, once they get their money, and even if they create their own business and everything else, they start outsourcing these jobs non-black, and I feel like that's just something that we need to do better as a collective. Start giving job opportunities to other black. And then when those people get their job and they get their paycheck, they need to circulate that money back into other black businesses and stuff. I don't know if y'all familiar with Brother Torian Rain. I think Torian Rain got a trip coming up, and I just saw his Instagram where he put up some clothes that he bought. He bought like shoes and the outfit and everything else, but he bought it from a black-owned business. And I feel like we're the biggest consumers in the world, right? We're the biggest consumers in the nation. So if that's the case, then why don't we just start seeing our stuff from other black people? And I know, and I've heard all the excuses under the world. Oh, black people just don't do good business. Or black people, their products don't be as good as everybody else. Or they give me bad service or everything else. It's like, well, shit. Maybe if the black person had the same resources as the white companies that you buy your stuff from, then maybe their service could get better. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's just something we need to do better. Keep our money circulating amongst each other. So if y'all know something, if I need to buy me some more drawers instead of giving me some Hanes, why don't y'all tell me who a black person who make drawers or make socks or make t-shirts? Or I know if I need to buy me some more cologne instead of me buying that Versace or that Gucci. Man, put me on somebody a black person who creates their own smell good. Or you know what I'm saying, just basic stuff. It don't necessarily have to be nothing big. Just even on some day-to-day stuff. I just feel like we need to start spending more money with black people, and I've been trying to go out my way to do that. And which is crazy because I'm in Atlanta. You would think it would be easier than what it is, but white supremacy.
And here's another thing too. This is why excellence is important, because we got black people who create black businesses and create these avenues, but they give us the bare minimum. No, I need excellence. If you make shoes, I need the best shoes I ever put on my feet. I'm still gonna support you if it's not. I'm gonna be with you along the journey, but your goals should be excellent. We have this issue where we don't want to give each other the best. We want to give each other the least. This is why there's not a lot of nail salons. There's not a lot of spas, black owned spas. Why? Because we don't want to cater to each other. We don't. We don't believe in that. We don't believe in washing each other's feet and washing each other's toes. Why? Because we don't believe in catering to each other. We believe we should give and this is deep rooted, because I know a lot of you guys can attest to this. Even our own mothers and fathers. I don't know if you guys been through this, but even my own relatives used to do that to me. Like, they would give me the bare minimum. Like, they'll go to the store, buy a pillow. It would be the cheapest pillow, or it would be the cheapest sock, or the cheapest sneaker. So basically what you're saying is I'm not worth the best of the best. No, black people deserve the best of the best. I deserve the best food. I deserve the best the best food, the best drinks. When I walk into the establishment, I deserve the best of the best. We know how to cater to white people. Oh, we know how to cater to them. Soon as they walk in the restaurant, ooh, we pull out the chair for them. We ask them if they want extra gravy. We ask them if they want extra plates to go. But with us, oh, we get the attitude from each other.
You mean the white man in the Jamaican spot?
Exactly. Exactly. You get the extra gravy. Even in McDonald's, like you walk in, Can I get your order? God damn, man. Like, could I get a hi? How you doing today? Even, and I know all of you guys could attest to this. Back in the days, you were walking in the inside the markets, and the women who work at the cash register, they would ask you how you doing, how was your day. Now they don't even look at you. They don't say a word. They'll just tell you the price of how much you owe is $367. Like, damn, man, like you don't even allow me to tip you. You're not even nice enough for me to tip you. But that's how it is now. We don't want to cater to each other.
Hey, that's why I think nowadays is so pivotal. That's why I believe this era that we living in now is second to none. You know, I feel like this era, people don't really even realize how important this era is right now, and all of us are a part of it, and it's being written in real time. We got real fixated on like looking at the civil rights era or eras before that, and people start really kind of living in that past and wanting to be a part of that. And I used to tell folks, now you living in your own era that's just as special right now. You may not see it now, but trust me, they'll look back on this time 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, the same way we look back on the civil rights era. So a lot of things can be accomplished, but people like us, well, we're making it cool. We're making it strong to be B1 and to represent ourselves and be certified black. And this is what's going to, create that shift. Because a lot of black folks, they don't have that unity in terms of money because they want to be the only black person in the room. Someone like a Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, you can just look at him talk and tell he wants to be the only black person in the room. That's it, because there's no room for him to share with any other black person because he's going to view them as a threat. He's going to view them as that. And the dominant society created a system to where they started to onesie and twosie us. Going back to the plantation where they would take the house motherfucker and bring them on in, nobody else. So what that does, that creates division between us. And now everyone's not fighting to be empowered as a group. They're fighting to be empowered as an individual. And what individual can get up in that house and sit next to white mommy and white daddy? This is what ended up happening. So a lot of black folks don't want to deal with each other. They don't want to let the money circulate in the community because they'd rather just be accepted by the dominant society and hang out with them all day long. So anytime they see a black person who's on some unity shit, they view them as a threat that they don't want to deal with no more. They want them out of here. Because, if you get a black business and I got a black business and Brother Afro and Kid and Nino and Rich, we all get our own stuff popping off. Someone like Stephen A. Smith is going to see that we're going to eventually go inside of that house that he wants to be the only brother in. And eventually we're going to take over that house. And eventually that house is going to change color from white to black. And that's the biggest threat in the mind of someone like a Stephen A. Smith or any type of bootleg. So that mentality that the dominant society is real clever. It's a real clever way to oppress people is you create paranoia amongst them. The house nigga, the last thing he ever wanted was for the field Negro to come inside, because now he sees competition and he sees his comfort way of living may change. So we as people right now, we're kind of putting a new spin on it. We put a new wave on it, and we're starting to cancel that mentality of the only brother in the room. And now we're making it to the point where, no, we all gonna come. We're gonna come together. It's like, if anybody got brothers or sisters, siblings up in here, you know how it go. If my brother can't come, I ain't coming. That's the mentality. You know what I'm saying? If Queen Alpha can't roll, then I ain't coming. Period. You know what I'm saying? Fuck your house. I'm going to stand out here on my own before I leave and abandon my own people. And we've had that mentality where folks is willing to just abandon their own people just for access. That one person to have access meant more than bringing the whole team. And now we are starting to put a shift in that to where we say, listen, if Afro ain't coming, I ain't coming. Kid ain't coming, I ain't coming. Nino ain't coming, I ain't coming. Rich ain't coming, I ain't coming. Queen Alpha ain't coming, I ain't coming. And that's how you got to change it. And those type of seeds will permeate through the community, and the kids is watching, and eventually they'll start to develop and take that mentality from us. But it's going to take us. It's going to take us to do that. And we're going to have to be that example that we were just talking about a moment ago, where they start seeing, oh man, it is pretty cool. I don't have to be the only one in the house. I don't have to fight my brother or fight my sister, and only one of us has a spot at the table. You know all that, a seat at the table? Listen to how defeated that sounds. You want a seat at the table. Translation, I want to be the only black person at the white table. Well, we look at that shit and say, a seat at the table? Fuck that. We gonna have the whole goddamn table full of us. That's how you got to have the mentality, and we got to lead by example. And I think we on that game right now, and I think it's coming, but it's gonna have to be a consistent thing, and we got to keep on pushing. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yep. Right on everything. I'm gonna find that article, y'all. But we don't even have to worry about that. But do what we doing, because
difficult.
after
Yeah, her
slavery,
phone,
it
phone in her
stayed.
pocket.
Yeah, I was gonna say difficult. Your phone is being difficult right now.
They kicked her down to the gulag.
Yeah, she out of here. 5, 4, 3. Gone.
Damn.
Yeah, I think she was probably pressing the buttons or something.
Okay. Roland, I guess you could speak till she comes back.
I'll wait till she comes because she probably gonna come right back.
Just to add on to what our brother Black Alpha was saying, exactly. Like we need to link up with each other and make big moves with each other, because if we have a $50 million project, I don't need to spend all that 50 million. I could come to Black Alpha, get 10 from him, get 10 from Afro, get 10 from Kid Gravity, 10 from Queen Alpha, 10 from Nino. And boom, we got a project right there. Instead of me spending my whole 50 buying up this entire community, buying up this 500 acres. Nah, I just come to my brothers. They all got money. They all doing well. That's how they do it in other communities. They don't put their entire money. Not one person put his entire savings together and buy the whole community up. No, everybody takes a piece of the pot. I went to last year. I was in Alabama, and I went to I forgot the name of the museum, but it's a car and motorcycle museum. It's the largest motorcycle museum in the world. It's in Alabama, and this is a white guy who owns it. It's on 900 acres, and he started this before he had that business. He had a milk business. His grandfather gave the business to his father. His father died and gave it to him. He sold the business, the milk business. Actually, he was producing milk for the entire Alabama at one, and he wasn't interested in it no more. So he sold the milk business that was passed on to him for $100 million. And he went and bought 900 acres. He built the motorcycle museum on it. He built a racetrack on it. He built a few houses on it, and he still has it to this day. And now he has other people who are interested in building museums on his acres, and he's doing it right now. So that's an example of when you have resources, when you have money, the things you can do. He was no longer interested in the milk business, and he left that business alone, sold the business, and took it, and now he's racking in about $5-6 million a year off tourism alone, of people coming in to see these motorcycles. Matter of fact, it's called the Barber Museum. I was there last year. So this is this is what you can do with resources. You get to buy that many acres, 900 acres of land.
That's what other communities got. They understand the group part of it. You know what I'm saying? We understand the individual part of it. It goes back to the system that we were just referring to, that the dominant society created, to where only ones and twos of us can have success. And that right there creates resentment. That creates separation amongst the greater group. They all understand group economics. They understand group politics. You know, we too many times operate, well, I don't like to say we, certain individuals within our community, because I know damn sure we don't right here in this, circle right here of us. But a lot of folks, they operate on this individual aspect, and we got to start moving as a group. And once we really move as a group, then it's really on and popping. When we get behind candidates, when we get behind businesses, when we get behind small business endeavors, we'll go far, because the other communities understand their strength in numbers. And it seems like B1s, this is what separates us from the pack. B1s, we know this. We know that there's strength in numbers. We understand that we got to mob together. And there's, we strong by ourselves, but, we stronger together. We understand this type of stuff. But when you look at take the Democratic Party, they're okay with a one person here, one person there. They'll do that forever. What's the term? First black. That's black. There's nothing plural about that. The first black. That's just one person. No other community would tolerate a onesie like that. Nobody would tolerate that. They say, I don't want one. I need it in flock. I need it in mass. And that's why they get things done. So this is probably the main reason why they fear B1s right now. And this is why they fear foundational Black Americans and certified Blacks. They fear us because we know the game. We see through all their bullshit. We understand it ain't about a onesie, it's about a group. We understand it's not about representation, it's about ownership. We understand it's not about me doing it by myself, it's me doing it with my family. And this is why they're trying to keep us on the outside, because they know once we penetrate with that type of thought process, it's going to send shockwaves through the community. And Black folks now who are younger, who have the mentality of independent, I'm going to do it by myself, eventually they're going to say, well, damn, them brothers right there teamed up, clicked up, and made it happen. Them sisters over there teamed up, clicked up, and made it happen. Maybe I need to go stand next to my brother, go stand next to my sister, and then things will really start to change. So if that mentality goes through, it's going to change. And that's going to probably be us who really push that line and make that happen. Because like we said, we can cancel the elders. They had their opportunity to do it. They rather just be onesie and twosie, integration, go to Walmart and drink out the same water faucet. They made their decision. But us as a team, as a collective unit, we're the ones who really are kicking it. Group economics is what Dr. Claude Anderson always talks about. Being on code is the collective thing. That's the main motto of the movement, is being on code. On code ain't just one person. On code means all of us, my brothers and sisters. I've been in stores where I've encountered black folks, and we'll have a small conversation, a brief conversation, and you could tell the energy that this brother or sister understands what being on code is. And this is what other communities have the luxury of doing to us, where they can see each other. Like Tariq always says, they can function through osmosis, where it's understood without having to be explained. They understand that this is how they practice supremacy against us. So we can practice black empowerment against them by understanding what a code is and understanding you work together. But you got to have a teammate thing. It's okay to be the offensive lineman and block if my boy gonna score that touchdown. It's okay to be the motherfucker who throw the ball and someone else catches it. Because if we move as a team, we win as a team. But you can never rise above your people as one man. So I think right now we're defeating that mentality of being by ourselves. We talk about independent a lot, right? We talk about black independent, black independent. Black independent, it still has to be plural, though. You know what I'm saying? I can have an independent black company that I employ black people by the dozen. Some folks take the independent thing and they just mean just me, 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 me. Well, that don't work. That ain't how it gets done. You know what I'm saying? So take the dominant society. They can have a business where one person owns it, but the whole damn staff is full of their community. Well, we can have the same effect on ours, where we can have our own thing that we own individually, but everybody got to come. And if everybody can't come, I ain't coming either. So that collective mentality is what we got to get to, and it's in a lot of us. But it's a battle, man. It's a tug of war, and I think that's what's going on right now. It's like the coons didn't want to give that shit up, but now we snatching it out their hands, and that's the difference between this era and the other eras. Other eras used to complain about them and be like, "Man, we tried, but the coons won't let us do it," and the Sambos and shit. Now we're not really doing that. We just kind of pushing them to the side and saying, they're gonna get the fuck out the way, or we're gonna push them. Go ahead, Roland.
But before you go, Roland, I want to piggyback off what you said, Black Alpha. What you're saying is 100% true. White supremacy's number one agenda is to separate us, keep us separated, because as soon as we link up, soon as we start making moves together, soon as the confusion stops, moves start being made. That's their number one agenda. Separate the black man from the black woman, separate the black man from the children, separate the black women from the children, separate the family, separate the black man from his best friend, his right hand man who's a black man, separate the black woman from her right hand man, which is another black woman. Separate them, because when you put them together, they start making moves. That's the number one agenda. Keep them separated, because if they're together, the only time they want us together is when we're fighting. That's the only time they want us together. Keep them together if they fight. But if they together and they're making moves, we don't want that. We do not want that. Go ahead, Roland.
Hey, let me ask you a question, man. If you say like the beauty, what's that? Like the Korean stores that are in the black neighborhoods, right? If we can get people, man, like to boycott that shit, to stop fucking with, the Asian stores and the people that own the Pakistan, just start boycotting all that shit, right?
See, but that's the thing though. I'm gonna let you finish. But that's the thing though. That's easy to say. It's easy to say let's boycott, but the work has to be put in.
Right.
Somebody physically has to do something. If we're gonna if we're gonna boycott something, it has to be replaced. Okay, we're gonna boycott the Chinese store. Who's gonna replace it with something for us to eat? And I'm not saying that I eat at a Chinese store, but I'm saying we need to cater. That goes back to what I was saying. We need to cater to our people, because
But
if black folks are so used to spending $10 on dinner, and we start boycotting the Chinese store, what are they gonna eat?
hey, but let me ask you this though. Let's keep it real. Majority of the stuff they sell, that they, and I'm just coming from a man's perspective. Majority of the stuff they sell at the Korean stores, like their hair salon stuff, I don't really think we need that shit.
I
What they have
That's
in there
more
that we can't
mindset.
create? What
That's
they
more
have in there
mindset
that
than
we can't
anything.
create?
I agree with you, but guess what? We got people who are dependent on these stores, like the Chinese store. It's not that the shit tastes good; it's that the shit is so cheap. It's $10. So if you hungry and you ain't got much as a black person, you're like, damn, I'm gonna call the Chinese store. It's not that it tastes good. That's why I said we have to start catering to each other. So when we boycott these places, we have somewhere else to go, and then we have, like, if a brother ain't got it like that or a sister ain't got it like that, they could come with their $10 and get something better. But if we taking the Chinese stores out, it's not realistic for you to see black folks just stop shopping it. No, we got to replace it. We got to put something there for us, for them to support. We boycott the Chinese store and we put a black owned restaurant there. Boom. So now when I see your ass walk in the Chinese store, I'm on your ass, because I purposely put a black owned restaurant right here for your ass, and you still walking in there. But if they don't have nothing to depend on, okay, perfect example, right? let's say we tell them we go to the nearest projects in New York City where there's let's say Nas's project. He's from QB, Queensbridge. That's the biggest projects in America, if I'm not mistaken, right? And there's Chinese stores all around those projects. If we go tell them boycott the Chinese store, where the hell they gonna eat at? Where? That's all they eat every day. They have no other. We gotta give them something that's gonna replace what we're taking away from them.
And I think both of y'all, that's true, man. It's like a combination. I tell people all the time, like the boycott is something that they did in the 60s and 70s, but they did it for bad reasoning. They wanted to boycott so they could stand next to the dominant society, some please let us in type stuff. Where if we boycott, it's kind of what you're saying, Rich, is to facilitate change, to actually bring in some new businesses. But even then, that goes back to, as we were saying earlier in the conversation, that still goes back to some type of representation on some type of political scale, because all this has to run through politics. It all has to run through politics. A lot of those businesses are subsidized anyway. All the hair salon, a lot of people don't even know that Korea, a lot of those Korean places, I think it's South Korea, they actually got funded by the United States government to take over. There's a documentary about how they took over our, hair care products. And that was all orchestrated by the United States government, all orchestrated. And we don't have people in those positions to do the same thing for us. Matter of fact, we have people in those positions, but they're working against us because we're the only people who have politicians that serve non-black people. We have black politicians that serve non-black people. Every other politician serves their community, or they serve the dominant society. We have politicians that work against us. You know what I'm saying? So this is why it's even more so true that we got to get those people out of there. And if we get real politicians that actually give business deals to black-owned businesses that will replace those foreign groups in our communities, and then on top of the boycott, that's two birds with one stone. We boycott and ran them up out, and then we replace them with our own. But it's going to take real political representation on some scale to do so. Because black folks, a lot of times, we don't have the luxury of having the political system help us out any. And unfortunately, we live in a capitalistic society where everything runs through politics. These phones that we're on right now, everything runs through politics. Every last thing you do in this country. So if we have no political representation, then we're stuck in a situation where, like I said earlier, we're the underground rapper. We're the underground rapper who just, sells stuff on the internet, opposed to the guy who's got $1 million contract where, he presses send and his music goes everywhere. So this is why we got to get in those positions where we can represent. Like we said, we can't even get on reparations panels and represent our goddamn self. We literally have foreigners on our reparations panels. That makes no sense. We talk about the city of Atlanta. Atlanta has a plethora of black politicians, and they don't even represent black folks. Earlier, me and Kid were talking about Raphael Warnock, Stacey Abrams, and Herschel Walker. Not one of them work for black people. Those are 3 black politicians, and they do not work for foundational black Americans. If those 3 people worked for any other group, or they're a part of any other group, they would make sure those groups got whatever they wanted. We have to get these politicians about. Go ahead, Kid.
Yeah, especially Stacey. I mean, she been plotting with the AAPI for a decade. So it wasn't lost on me that after that white boy shot all them Asians down here, they got their bill and they got $50 million. And I'm sure she was right there in the forefront clapping, but then runs on the news and talks about voter suppression. And it gets called to the carpet on it when they proved there wasn't any. And it says, I never said it. So, like I said, politicians like that got to go because they're going to get black people killed down here. And they're just going to turn an eye because she wants to go serve all these other communities. So please be careful with that.
Yeah, especially down south. If you look at the South has the majority of black people in this country. The South does. I think it's over 60%, if I'm not mistaken, of people live down south. There's places down south that are majority black towns, and not anybody on the political atmosphere is a black person. None of them. I mean, the town will literally be 80% black, but the politicians will be 80% non-black. And these people vote for them. So you're voting against your own will. That whole voting against my own will, that's the shit that's got to go from black folks. It just has to get up out of here. You got people right now that are in towns, like I said, in the deep south. I mean, places like in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas. These places, Louisiana, these people are majority black and still can't get nothing done for black folks. You have people who aren't even represented in the population, people that got 3% of a population in a majority black town, and they're getting business loans when black folks can't even get them. And black folks keep voting these people in. This is why what Brother Marcel is doing, And Sister Tamara or Tamara, however you pronounce it, um, black folks got to really ride with them. We got to really ride with them, even if you don't like them and you just give them. I'm not talking about giving no blind endorsement or nothing like that, but I'm talking about the mentality. I'm talking about the actual movement that they're on. If you don't rock with them personally, then rock with somebody with that mentality of themselves. A lot of people don't know when the Black Panther Party got started in 1966 by Bobby Seale and Huey Newton. Bobby Seale had actually studied every town in the South, and they didn't have the internet back then, so he had to go to the library, and he went into the library and he studied the population down south, and he said exactly what I'm saying in 2022. He said it in 1966. He's like, how the fuck do you have majority black towns with no political representation? It makes zero sense. And we had it then and we got it now. And that's 60 years ago. 60 years ago. So that's why the Black Panther was the Black Panther Party. That's why they wanted to get political representation. And it don't have to be in the general election or none of that stuff. That's why I say anybody who's down for reparations and speaks on us, they should not have any political affiliation with the Democratic or Republican Party, because you will not serve black folks with those two groups. So we got to get people on the grassroots level to penetrate the system. And even if you're doing it on a small level, I don't know if people are familiar with a lady named Asia Brown. She's the mayor out in Compton, California. A lot of people aren't familiar with her. And in my opinion, the black community, the B1 community, should have been supportive of her a long time ago. All that straight out of Compton, how much do you hear about all that Compton gangbanging and thugging and shit that you heard back in the day? You don't hear that about Compton too much, because she came in and was literally meeting with gang members and putting together meetings between gang members, and she cut the gang crime in half in Compton, California. And then she created initiatives that if businesses came and invested into Compton, they could get tax breaks and loans. The same thing that goes on for every other community. She did this in Compton. This is why you don't hear about Compton in the news like you did in the 90s and the 2000s. That shit used to be a war zone. And now you don't hear about it because she was actually a sister. I think she went to University, was it Southern California, USC. And she changed Compton. She flipped Compton upside down, but just by doing it in the grassroots level. What ended up happening, she tried to run for Congress and she lost, because the person she lost to was a Hispanic, and the Hispanic community voted for their person, and the blacks didn't turn out for her. You know what I'm saying? So this is what people have to do. You got to really understand these candidates, and if you can't find one, create one, and that's what's going on right now. So this is why we got to get political representation, and political representation means nothing without economics. But we do have the economics. So if we took some of our economic prowess and we put it behind political candidates that truly have a B1 agenda, and we know how to put pressure on these folks. We know how to do it. We put pressure on people every day. We know how to run them folks off the block who ain't about that. The time of trying to figure people out, that's over with. We got a clear idea of who's about that life and who ain't about that life. If you see a politician and they start talking that BS, cut them off. But if you see a politician that's about that life and is actually talking about something that benefits the black community, then we can roll with them. And I think that's where we got to start. That's why a lot of people are energetic and they have a lot of passion right now behind what's going on with Brother Marcel's. They said Reparations Day or what not was today. That's the type of energy, because a lot of folks ain't even heard no black person talking about reparations. That's on a real level. They just hear the typical gender coming from the Democrats and stuff like Sheila Jackson, whatever the fuck her name is. So we got to get to the point where we get real political representation, but it starts from the actual community finding politicians and then pushing them through the system. You can go right now. Half these rappers out here, you can go right now. You can't tell me some of them rappers couldn't run in Atlanta and win. Some of them rappers in New York couldn't run and win. Some of these rappers in Florida and all throughout the country, they could run and win, but they'd rather just sit out and collect their money.
Here's a perfect example of what I was speaking about. If you go to the JEW community, like in Brooklyn, New York, there's a neighborhood called Borough Park. That's their neighborhood. Every store you see in there is owned by them. Every single store, every single property. And by the way, they're the only group in New York City that build their home, that custom make their home. They build it from the ground up. No other community does that. Every home they live in is custom made. They have their own Toys R Us. They have their own restaurants. They have their own schools. They even have their own sushi restaurants, and they hire Chinese people to make the sushi, and they overlook the Chinese people making their food. This is cold hard facts. They have everything they need inside their community. And when I mean everything, I mean all the JEW stores are side by side. Meaning with us, if there's a black business, there's one in this neighborhood, one in that neighborhood. So by the time you support all black businesses, all of them are about 40 minutes away. With them, it's side by side. You got a restaurant over here. You got a liquor store. They own JEW liquor stores. Next door to that, they have their lingerie stores, believe it or not. They got their own wig stores because, they wear wigs. Schools. gymnasiums, everything they need is in that one community. So they don't need to boycott anybody. For what? I could just walk into this neighborhood and every single thing I need is right here. They got their own supermarkets. Everything they need is there. And that's exactly how we need to cater to our own people. That exact way. We bring what they need to them so that way there's no excuses. You said you needed a black owned salon, it's right here. You needed a black owned nail salon, it's right here. You needed a black owned supermarket, it's right here. Your children need a school to go to, a black owned school, it's right here.
That term right there, black owned, man, that's like the best fucking word ever. Anytime I hear that, or that term, shall I say, black owned, anytime I hear that, that gets me going because that's what we need more of. And black owned that's black representation, not being a part of somebody's group, not being a part of somebody's party or tap dancing, for any other society. Black owned is truly what it's all about. And I think Brother Nino was saying it earlier, like these blueprints are laid out. The other communities already do it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like something that's got to be figured out. Like you can look and see how other people do it. Like you were saying, if it's you playing sports and somebody got a play that work, then you implement that play. You know what I'm saying? So if you just actually practice what other groups are doing, in your own way, because you may not have the luxuries of doing it to the T like they do, but the blueprint is laid out and it just needs to be followed. And that's why I keep coming back to it. I remember what it was 5 years ago. I remember what it was 10 years ago. I remember what it was 15 years ago, even though I was a lot younger and I'm not where I was, then like I am now. But I remember black folks didn't have a pulse like this. They didn't have one. Anybody who was old enough to remember, what it felt like a couple years ago. Go back to the Obama era and then look at it to this era. It is the complete antithesis. It's absolutely changed. So this is why, like right now, we kicking it. And these minds right now that we got that are collective, it can't be touched, cannot be touched at all. And I really, for the first time, feel like we have the minds to do with everything we said. I mean, we've already done a lot already, just in this last era. In my opinion, this is just my personal view, me, myself, and I. I feel like we've accomplished more in the last 5 to 6 years than black folks did the last 25, 30. Real talk. Real talk. And I truly, genuinely believe that. They weren't running around here even self-identifying. They were still having tag names and barcodes on their neck. So they didn't even represent a term like B1. They wasn't really even pumping that back in the day. They was talking about, yes, we can. You know what I'm saying? So this era's already moved. So if we've already did this and made these achievements and made these leaps in 5 years, imagine the next 5 where everybody's stronger and then we got more people coming along. You know what I'm saying? So this type of spaces and like this and this energy is what creates real change and getting behind it every day. In this community, there's something different and there's a new voice, there's a new idea, there's a new mind, there's new evolution, and you see it every day in our community. So I'm like telling people we got to keep clicking up, we got to keep getting on the same page and keep kicking that black power to the last hour. And then as long as you do that, nothing really change. So yeah, I still believe it's FBA versus the world, but I think we win by knockout.
I think we'll go ahead and close it out on a good note. We'll let everybody get their last. I mean, Black Outfits on you. You the host. My bad. I just thought.
Nah, I was throwing you an alley oop, brother. You caught that shit. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah. It's on you, brother.
Hey, there we go. Hey, the alley oop right there. That's what you call black empowerment, black teamwork.
Exactly. So, if anybody want to give some last words, go right ahead.
Be one over everyone.
Hey, I like that right there, man. I think that speaks for the crowd right there. Oh, I got some last words. Brother Rich. Hey, I'm tuned in, brother. Hey, I'm ready for the debate. Brother. I'm gonna be locked and loaded. Me and Queen Alpha gonna be posted up, watching the whole thing play out, brother. So hey, give him that work, brother. Like I already know.
Oh yeah, I'm going home early. I'm getting my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, and it's gonna be an easy spanking anyway. It's not gonna be nothing difficult. So it's gonna be pretty quick. So it's light work, but I'm definitely gonna be at home. You're not gonna hear any noise in the background. I want you to hear every single word that's coming out my mouth, and it's gonna be pretty simple. But my last words is yeah. If you have a complaint in the black community, make it your life work to fix that whatever you're complaining about. Like me, I speak about a lot today. I spoke a lot about real estate. For a lot of you guys, you don't know, I'm actually a real estate agent. So whatever I say I have a problem with, I dedicate my life to. So if you have a problem with these businesses in our neighborhood that own things and we don't own it, then make it your life work to change that. Because these corner stores in New York City, these bodegas, they didn't go to college to figure out how to own these bodegas. This thing is easy. All you need is a wholesale supplier who sells all the things that people need, all the candy, all the drinks. All you need is their number, get their number, find a location where you want to set up your store, and that's it. order whatever you need, get your business credit up so that can fund the corner store, and you order those things that you need, all those supplies that you need, you order it. You hire somebody to work in the back to make sandwiches. You hire somebody to work in the front to take all the payments. And it's that simple. You don't need to go to college to learn how to open up a business or learn how to open up a corner store in your neighborhood. This thing is simple. So if you have an issue in your community, let's get past the complaining part. Make it your life work to change whatever's going on, whatever you got a problem with in your community. If you got a problem with it, make it your life's work. You got a problem with real estate developments in your neighborhood. Every day you wake up and you see a new real estate development and there's no black people in control of it, become a real estate developer. You got a problem with these banks not refinancing black people when it's time for us to make money, become a loan officer. You got a problem with these black homeowners not getting their homes sold the way they should, become a real estate agent. Make it your life work. Whatever issue you got with in the black community, make it your life work to fix it. That's my last point.
And with that said, man, be one everybody. Catch y'all on the other side to the next time.
Oh, Afro or Nino, no last words. Kid Gravity, no last words.
Oh nah,
Yeah.
man, y'all brothers pretty much said everything. I was gonna say I appreciate y'all holding these spaces. I'm looking forward to the murder. I mean the debate you gonna have to
Hey,
have
hey,
on
hey,
Monday.
hey, we don't say murder in these
No,
rooms.
I said the
Don't
wrong
say
word.
murder in these
I misspoke.
rooms.
I misspoke. I meant debate.
Yes, it's going to be a healthy debate that might go the way we think, but we never know. But my last word is, on behalf of myself, Afro, Black Alpha, the Queen, just follow us on our YouTube channels. We'll put up this content later. And we got other commentary on there that's B1 certified. So just make sure you follow us so you can keep abreast of what things are going on. And yeah.
Afro, any last words, brother? I think Afro stepped out.
I think he bought a deep dish and fell asleep.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. My brother Afro be on this. He be doing this thing 24/7. He's in and out of all these spaces. He's doing his YouTube. So if my brother getting some rest right now, I feel him.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, man. Serve the people until you fall asleep, man. That's what you call passion right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yo. Hey, man. Hey, shit, let me throw this in there then, too. Hey, man, I'm straight up every week. I'm trying to do at least 2 of these every week, to be honest with you. I don't give a damn what the subject. We'll make some shit up. We'll just
All right,
chop
actually,
it up.
you know what? If y'all are available tomorrow night, I do want to do a quick one. I got to go off on Caribbean.
I'm there. I'm wherever you need me, brother.
Yeah, I might have to do a room on Caribbeans. I might have to read them the riot act.
And kid, you know I gotta be there, please, brother. You know.
No, I know, because I saw some disturbing things. I heard some disturbing things over the weekend. I got to address it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm there.
Yeah.
Anytime whether we DM it and we all get together and meet at the same place at the same time, or if I see y'all on there, man, I'm there. Like, I feel like the more the merrier, the two. I'm not going to say no names, man. I'm going to, Rich, you know what I'm talking about, because we be DMing about this. There's other little groups out there. You know what I'm saying? I be feeling like there's a little line in the sand that I've noticed. And I see a bunch of familiar faces like us on this side, and I see other ones on that side. And let's just say the content is very, very different. One is ratchet, and as Brother Rich says, it causes confusion. And the other one is very, very thorough. And the thorough ones is us. So I feel like as much as the ratchet bullshit energy is out there, then we need to go ahead and put up some certified energy up there to even it out. So there ain't no bullshit in the game. It's only real ones. But yeah.
Now, was it that me and Black Alpha ain't never DM'd each other, but I know exactly who and what he's talking about.
Brother Nino, bro. I actually wanted to mention this to you, but that's crazy. I was like, yo, I know our brother Nino feel the same goddamn way. I know he does, because I know me, Nino, Afro Elite, Queen Alpha, Black Alpha, we're all on the same frequency. So I knew you felt the way about that, but I appreciate you saying that.
I be trying to be diplomatic, brother, because I know, at least on paper, we all got the same goal. But that's all I'm gonna say. I know who you talking to.
Yeah, I see you, Nino. I'm with you, baby. Queen Alpha, darling. You see this group, don't you? You see the other group. Tell me just a little bit, without any names. Just, you see what we're talking about?
Yes, I've been in some of those spaces listening.
Is it as bad as we're saying, or is it worse?
I mean, depending on the day, because it'd be really some people in there thinking they like Queen of the Earth and know what they talking about, and they be sounding real funny style. So I don't know.
Auntie.
Hey, like Professor Black Truth say, if y'all don't see me mention certain people or certain things or certain hashtags, there's a reason for it.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
And I try, man. I try. I go in there. I try to get into it. I always try. You guys got to give me that because I try. I try to get into it, but it's just it ain't like this, man. It ain't like this one.
Because we actually read over here. We actually read books. These people, never mind. I'm saying too much. I'm saying too much as it is. Put it this way, man. I feel like we got people over here who actually study the Grandmaster teachers, and then on the other end of the spectrum, there's people who only heard about them and just be repeating little catchphrases that they heard other people say.
Exactly.
Too much ego, too much pride, too much I want to be right, too much elderly worshiping. Oh God.
Older worshipers. There's a difference between an elder and an older.
Word, Rich, you was in that space with me. I seen you, so I know. I know.
Yeah, I seen you too, and I know. I'm like, I see our sister there trying. She's trying to stay in there, trying to just, buy into what they're selling. But it's hard, man. I try all the time. I go in there. I'm like, you know what? One thing I'll say about that whole situation. The topics, it'd be great topics, but it just don't be landed. It's just they don't land.
That's a joke. They did not tell you that the other day. They don't land. It seems like it's missing. That's exactly what.
Of course, the topics are going to be great because they usually be biting topics that people on this side of the game did first. Like when Afro conducted his the do's and don'ts of being on code, I turn around and see some folks doing the same as that room the next day. I'm like, but y'all gonna come in there and come contribute to the conversation that was being had over here, but then y'all gonna sit here and take the same subject but then do an off brand. You know what I'm saying? Like the difference between Frosted Flakes and Flakes of Frost. It ain't the same.
Hey, see, I said Captain Crunch, not Lieutenant Snaps.
But this is how you know frequency is real. Frequency is very, very real. When a certain group of people or a certain individual is attracted to another person, with what they're saying and how they move and how they act and how they conduct themselves, it's real because that other section, they all are on the same frequency. They all are. It's all about confusion. It's all about cursing. It's all about being loud. Over here is extra quiet. When someone is talking, we let them speak. If someone wants to speak, we let them speak. There's no confusion, and we stay on topic. Everything is smooth here.
Listen, we're gonna have a talk about that off the record because it's a lot of things I'd say, but I just ain't never had nobody to talk to about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it is some people on that side who I feel ambition to want to get deeper into subjects and be. It's late, y'all, but I mean, it's some people over there I'm cool with, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell they want to be cool with folks over here, but they feel like if they do, them folks gonna turn on them, like they got something dangling over them. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it's almost like they being held hostage, and they be turning on each other left and right too.
And they be misguided and undecided. What they say, a wild hoe need a pimp because a bitch with no instructions is heading for self-destruction. And I see it all the time on that side, all the time. I'll be like, damn. And hey, they be having feuds I don't even be knowing about. I'll be like, what the fuck? Yeah. I will say that we definitely on this side is the thorough side. They try. They be like y'all say, man. They try to land the plane, but they crash the plane. That's fucked up. We can't rock with that. No way.
The plane don't even get off the ground half.
Hey, they ran out of fuel. Hey, they still on the runway.
But yeah, like I said, we're gonna have to have that conversation.
Bet that. I see that we all on the same page though. That's funny. Hey, one of us to just say one thing and everybody already know. That just lets you know, like they say, real recognize real, and the real ones always fall in. That you could say one thing, and when you got that B1 mind, it all clicks and stuff. So yeah, I'm with all y'all, man. We're gonna talk about that. But all right, man, y'all stay good, man. Y'all stay safe, man. I'm gonna catch y'all all. I'm gonna do another one, man. Anytime I see y'all, I'm pulling up, man. And we're gonna chop it up and keep bringing this thorough, man.
Yes, sir.